up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. It does look like the polls in this country in regards to the national election coming up in, what are we talking about, 7 months or so? The national election, the presidential election, look like the polls are starting to indicate that Biden is catching up to Trump. How can that be? For my beloved MAGA tuning into the program, say it ain't so, but it does appear as if Biden is somehow catching up to Trump in the polls. Now, what we want to talk about is the fact that many would suggest, we're talking about as a whole, we're talking about both Democrats and Republicans, many would suggest that a lot of Americans favor President Trump handling the economy over President Biden, favor President Trump handling our nation's border over President Biden. So the obvious question is, why is Biden catching up with Trump in a host of polls? There are some polls that still show Trump favorable. It's getting to the point of the margin of error, which is generally a point or two. But fact is, Biden is either closing the gap in many polls or has taken the lead over Trump in many polls. Even though folks believe that Trump was more favorable with the economy and certainly protecting our nation's border. So the first question is obviously going to be, did the Republicans, in choosing President Trump for a second go-round, did they pick the right candidate? Because there were like 9 other choices. Would any of those other individuals potentially have fared better against Biden than the guy we have now, which is Donald J. Trump? So that's going to be our first question. Second question, we generally have two questions. Number 2, obviously, President Trump is on trial. Alvin Bragg, New York City, the paying Stormy Daniels off with campaign funds, a case that a lot of folks feel is bullshit. Nevertheless, it is a real case. It is a real case against the former president containing real felonies and, although unlikely, could lead to some real jail time. So what we're going to be asking, in addition to what the polls are saying and whether Trump whether Trump is the best candidate to go against Biden, the next question is, while Trump has multiple indictments in court right now on trial, he's the first president with a mugshot, first president to actually have his home raided. Are the indictments helping President Trump? Do you believe the more he's tried, the more his support grows? Do you believe the court system continuing to suggest Trump is guilty of crimes or charge him with crimes, indictments, and things like that? Do you believe it actually is helping the former president? What say you? So those are the 2 topics we're going to discuss today. The program always will remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are always my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. We start every program off by stating we do not block, ban, or censor anyone. Program is and always will remain free speech oriented. So understand you don't have to agree with anyone in the comment section or even yours truly. Nobody gives a damn if you have a different opinion. That's what it's about here. So looking in the comments, more Dems than Republicans. More independents favor Democrats. Lisa Lee, is that true? In this go-round, more independents are favoring Democrats. If so, why? Feel free to elaborate on that. The jury and the psychopaths aren't the same people, says Kevin on YouTube. I don't get that. Loudest aren't always the majority. That's true, Ryan, but I don't know if that applies in this case. Going straight to the box, the one and only Moo, starting the program off right. Good afternoon, Moo. Biden is climbing in the polls. Now, Moo, I know you're no fan of President Biden, but you're less of a fan of Trump. Why is Biden closing the gap?
I mean, one of the most major things is probably probably going to be the abortion issue, right? But the thing is, right, you don't need to worry about these polls, okay? Donald Trump got 70 million votes. Biden got 80 million. That means that Biden needs to lose about 10 million voters in order for Trump to win. I know you maggots don't like math. There's no way in fucking hell that's going to happen, folks, okay? To lose 10 million voters so that the orange dipshit wins
but
is
what
not
about, wait, but
going to happen.
But let me present some scenarios. What about the economy? What about the border? What about the chaos happening in Gaza?
Okay, well, you know, we've talked about this before, right? All of Biden's numbers are better than Trump's. So the only people who don't realize that are MAGA, okay? They don't believe in math. They don't believe in numbers. When you look at the numbers, all of Biden's numbers are better than Trump. And they can sit there and be like, oh, no. But math doesn't lie, my dude. So you can sit there and gaslight people all you want, right? It doesn't fucking matter. Now, as far as Israel goes, Trump would do a far worse job. He's already tried to start a world war with Iran. He canceled the Iran deal, which is one of the biggest political blunders in history. So, you know, and he takes massive amounts of money from Miriam Adelson. We already talked about this. He even gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So the idea that Trump would even stop the war in Israel is ridiculous. You know, Trump wants to be a dictator and Netanyahu is a fascist, okay? They're like two peas in a pod, my dude. He's not going to stop him from doing what he wants to do. He takes a ton of money from them.
Yeah. What about the idea, because this is being spread around in numerous circles, that President Trump being the first guy to have a mugshot, first guy to have his home raided, all these indictments, 88 charges. The fact that folks are suggesting that the indictments in court cases are actually growing support for President Trump. What say you?
So that's the standpoint of MAGA, right? Because they're scum, right? They love criminals, and they think that other people love criminals too. Their whole worldview is fucked up, right? Because they can't even understand that Donald Trump is extremely unpopular, which is why you lost to Biden, right? They can't even think that for a minute that people like Biden better than Trump. How can it be? I saw this man on TV. He had his own reality show. People must like him. No, you dumb fucks. They don't like him. That's why you're going to lose.
But in regards to your claim that people like Biden better than Trump, if Trump loses, let's say, for instance, Trump loses as you're predicting, is that due to people liking Biden better than Trump, or people just not liking Trump and voting against Trump?
You can say it whichever way you want. It's basically the same shit, man. People do not like Trump, and MAGA can't understand this because they love him. Right? They're on his jock all the time. They have pictures of him in tight pants all over their TikTok walls and shit, right? So they can't understand that the vast majority of America, even people who don't vote, which doesn't matter in an election, but even people who don't vote, don't like Donald sleepy ass Trump.
Okay. Well, in regards to what you're saying, Captain C, this is what I would refer to as a controversial comment, so I'll just throw it on you and let you have it. Captain C on YouTube says Biden won from non-existing people and people who are dead, and that's proven. Rigged win, buddy. What say you?
Yeah, it's proven. Okay, so there were 60 court cases that Donald Trump brought to trial. They all got thrown out because he has no fucking evidence. So it's not proven. Your guy's just gaslighting again because he's a dumb MAGA fuck, right? So he says these things that have no weight to them, right? 60 court cases all got thrown out because of no evidence. Trump hired a company to do an election forensics. They did that. Yeah. They didn't find anything. They told Trump, we didn't find any proof of fraud. So he fired them.
Yeah.
You know, he's a dipshit, and his supporters are dipshits, just like the guy who made that comment.
Now, I agree with you that it's certainly not proven that Trump won the election or any of that stuff. But your statement that Trump supporters are dipshit, you don't think that's
they're dipshits.
You don't think that's insulting, or I mean, you're stereotyping a whole group?
I hope it is. No, I hope it is insulting. I want it to be insulting because they deserve to be insulted, right?
Everybody that supports Trump deserves to be insulted. Elaborate.
Absolutely, yeah. If you don't believe in oppressing LGBTQ people, if you don't believe in abortion bans, if you don't believe in raising the Social Security age, if you don't believe that raping women is okay, then you don't support Trump. If you support Trump, you are okay with all those types of behaviors. So yeah, you all deserve to be insulted because you're scumbags.
Let me say a couple things. First of all, 700 of you folks in here, tap the screen, get me on up to around 15,000 likes. You know this is an uncensored program. And I'm going to go into that before I talk to Moo once more. And by the way, for you folks on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. In the comments, someone asked, why don't I block him? Talking about my caller. We don't block any damn body. Understand that. This is when I say uncensored, damn it, I mean it. Go ahead, Moo.
I don't care if y'all block me. Oh my God, my day is ruined because MAG is blocking me and I won't have to hear their stupid gaslighting comments anymore. God forbid, right? You know, let me talk about something real quick here. Make America great again, guys. What the fuck does that even mean? Okay? The $14 billion that you guys don't want to go to Israel, what the fuck are you guys going to do with that, right? Are you going to give that to the middle class? Are you going to disperse that amongst the homeless people that need housing? What the fuck are you going to do to make America great again? You guys will give that money to rich people because you're Republicans, and that's what you do, right? You give money to rich people. That's your idea of making America great again. That's what you've been doing for the past 50 fucking years. Make America great again means absolutely fucking nothing. It means nothing.
Well, I gotta push back. And by the way, Zeus with that couch potato. Thank you. Absolutely thank you for that support. Texas on YouTube, thank you for your super chat as well, said, then why are Democrats Triple K involved in that? KKK, Democrats against securing. Wait, hang on. Then why are Democrats against securing the vote by proving you're eligible to vote? And I got to ask you, Moo, why the hell are some Democrats against requiring a voter ID?
Because this country has an extremely low amount of voter fraud. It's just another obstacle for the GOP to try and put things in people's way from voting, right? They don't want people to vote because they don't win the popular vote. They haven't won a popular vote since Bush. Trump never won a popular vote.
Hang on. You really, wait. You're saying putting things in a way to prevent people from voting. You really think requiring an ID is going too far?
So first of all, I've never said it's too far. I just don't think it's necessary. It's just another obstacle that they want to throw in the way to keep people from voting, because when a lot of people vote, you fuckers lose. You lose all the time when a lot of people vote. A lot of people came out last election. You lost by like 10 million votes. That's what happens when a lot of Americans come out to vote.
Hold up, Moo, is there any excuse for a full-grown adult to not have an ID? Come on now, that's not a hurdle.
Listen, it's not my job to decide who's a full-grown adult and who should have ID or not, all right? The fact of the matter is, this is an obstacle that they want to put in people's way to stop people from coming out to vote. It's not necessary. The Heritage Foundation, which is a Republican think tank, has done extensive studies on voter fraud since the 70s. They found about 8,000 cases up to like 2020, I think it was, and the vast majority of them were Republicans. So, yeah, Republicans need to have voter ID. Democrats, you can skip that because the majority of voter fraud, according to the Heritage Foundation, comes from the Republican side. And even in the 2016 election, they found, it was the 2020, they found that most voter fraud in these dead people that you're talking about were Republicans making their aunts vote that are already dead, their grandfather that's already dead. It was y'all doing that, right? Everything you say about the Democrats, you can just consider that something the Republicans are doing, right? When Trump says Joe Biden has dementia, he actually has dementia. When Trump says Joe Biden's sleepy, he's actually sleepy. When he says that Joe Biden stole the election, he knows that he did fake electors, so he tried to steal the election. You can consider every slur, every insult that Republicans throw at Democrats, they're already doing that shit. Wow. That's why they know what to say, because they're actually doing it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have any fucking talking points. Trump's a moron. He doesn't know how to come up with this stuff. When he does a crime, he projects it onto other people. That way it makes them look like the criminal instead of him. He's been doing it for years.
So it's just a real big case of reverse psychology. I do got to move it on, Moo. You always say a mouthful. Appreciate it, man.
Have a good one.
You too. Every time I bring Moo on, by the time he's done, I'm sweating. Wow. I feel like a preacher in church. Okay, looking in the comments, Texas T. And by the way, Tony on TikTok says you need an ID for everything like cash and checks, buying cars, but not to vote. That's crazy. Tony, I agree with you. I believe that if the Democrats want to suggest there's not a lot of voter fraud, in my opinion, there are some real hurdles being put up to prevent people from voting, but I don't think there's an excuse for a full-grown adult to not have an idea. If you want to vote that bad, how hard is it for an American to get an idea? I don't see that one the same way my last caller did, but I always appreciate talking to Moo. By the way, for those who suggest that we block anyone, that doesn't happen here. What do we say every damn day? This program is about free speech. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. Everyone in the political spectrum understand we allow people to speak no matter where the hell they lie on it, even if they completely disagree with the host or anybody in the damn comments. No one is getting blocked here. That doesn't get done here. Texas T, okay, here's one for him. If people under 21 years old are not mentally fit to own a firearm, how are 18-year-olds mentally going to vote? I'm assuming that last word meant it. It's a good point. It's a good point. I believe that you certainly should be able to vote at 18, but you should have an ID. Like one of the viewers said, you need an ID for some every damn thing. I don't see any legitimate reason why 99% of Americans cannot get an ID. I mean, you get a state ID or a driver's license, that shit lasts half a decade or even longer. Some driver's licenses can last damn near 7 years. How much does it really cost to get a state ID? I mean, you probably can get a state ID for cheaper than what's on the dollar bill at most restaurants nowadays. That's crazy. Looking in the comments. And by the way, folks, appreciate you tapping the screen. 700 plus of you still in here. Could be anywhere you want to be on this app. Always good to have you here with me. Before we go back to the box, red pill, blue pill, either way, all the same and the same agenda. Nikki, I gotta disagree with you. The idea that Trump and Biden have the same agenda for America, really? I could not disagree with you more. Going back to the box, speaking of which, it is indeed Tony asking that question. With the polls narrowing, did the Republicans pick the right candidate for 2024? Is Trump the best candidate the Republicans going to pick? Tony, what say you?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's the only one that has a chance to beat Biden.
What happened the first time?
I mean, I really do believe in election fraud. I do believe that, I do believe it's on both sides. I do firmly believe that you should have an ID to vote. I mean, like I said in the comments, you got to have an ID for almost everything in America.
Yeah.
But you don't have an ID to vote. I mean, there's reasons why the Democrats don't want to push that. I mean, they won't let it happen.
Yeah. But when you say election fraud and you admit it happened on both sides, then how are folks suggesting Trump won if there's been a host of election fraud on the Republican side as well? Is that something we have proof of that Trump won, or is that just the way people feel?
No, I mean, I don't have proof that he won. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, I don't think they have proof that he won. But like I said,
then why is he saying it? Why is Trump himself saying he won by a landslide if there's no proof?
I mean, it's just a way to try to get more voters out. It's a way for him, to push an agenda and to get more people to come out to vote for him.
Is that a good thing? Because you're basically admitting then that if he doesn't know, he's willing to potentially lie because he doesn't know if what he's saying is true. Is that a good thing?
I don't think it's a good thing. I think a lot of stuff he does is not good things that he say and that he says and does, in my opinion. But I mean, it's Donald Trump. He kind of says what he wants.
Yeah, but you do realize people could end up.
I just believe he is a better businessman, and has better policies for our economy. I mean, I live in Nashville in Tennessee. I mean, it's just all the prices of everything has went up drastically. It's just a normal middle class citizen is really hard to survive.
But in regards to, like you said, Trump just says what he wants, and you're talking about the economy and things going up in price. Why not put someone in, like, let's say Ron DeSantis or Vivek, that ain't known for lying, that would probably give you the same economy as Trump?
Because they know that he can't be Biden.
You don't think DeSantis
I
or
agree. I think Vivek would be a good president in my opinion. But I just don't. They know. I mean, they know more than us normal citizens about who can win, and they know that with Biden that there's just no way that Vivek could beat him.
Okay. So what makes you so confident Trump could win? I mean, Trump is the first president to have a mugshot, to have his home raided, to be charged with crimes over and over again. Did you really think that would ever happen?
No, I didn't think none of that would happen, but I didn't think that all that would raise his numbers in the polls either.
Yeah. So you do believe
every time something's happened to him, I mean, the numbers raise.
Yeah, and that's the second question of the program. So you do believe that if the indictments, the court cases, are bringing voters to his side?
Yeah, I think it's bringing more than it's pushing away.
Okay. Here's the issue.
Because it's showing, normal citizens, a lot of normal citizens, in my opinion, that it is, like a witch hunt. I mean, they're trying everything possible.
Yeah. Here's the issue I have with that, though. Let me give you a politician. Let's take Nancy Pelosi. What do you think of Nancy Pelosi in terms of her vision for America?
Honestly, I just think that she, is for giving free money away. I'm for working. I'm not for getting everything for free. I'm not for, free housing, free whatever. I'm for getting out and getting a job. I guess, like, they say, buy your bootstraps. I mean,
would you ever vote for her for president if she ran?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay, and that's what I'm asking, because let's say, for instance, Nancy Pelosi was running for president, but all of a sudden the court started charging her with a host of crimes that you felt 100% confident were all bullshit. You believed that Nancy was being railroaded by the system. Would that make you more likely to consider voting for her?
No.
Yeah. So why do you think why do you think it works for Trump then? If you know for a fact you would never vote for her.
I mean, maybe they're lying about the polls, but I mean, I'm sure they do. But maybe it's not. Maybe it is pushing more voters away. But the polls seem to show that, he did every time they've done these charges against him, that his numbers rise.
Yeah. Wow, and real quick, this is kind of off topic, but since Nueva said it in the comments, stated I'll never vote for a woman. Do you think America's perhaps not ready for a female president due to statements like that?
I think the right candidate, female president, would be great for this country.
Okay, Nikki Haley?
I don't think Nikki Haley's the right one.
Why not?
But I do see, and I don't think Kamala is. I do see, in the next 20 years, them being a female president.
Okay. 20 years? Wait a minute, Tony. It's 2024. Women got the right to vote in 1920. You said 2040? They still got... What is this, Blade Runner? 2040?
We just had our first black president. We just had a female vice president. I mean, that's one of the next steps.
Okay. So we are very slow to evolve, in other words.
Yes, for sure.
20 more years. Damn.
But I think that's the way this country is. I mean... we're starting to evolve faster the last 10 years than we have in 100 years. And when you look at, I'm a Christian. When you look at, gays' right to marriage and the trans stuff and all the different things, I mean, this country is evolving very fast.
Is that a good thing?
My honest opinion is no. Okay. But, I mean, I don't believe in pushing that stuff in schools and everything. I mean, I don't mind you do, what you want in your own home and your own house or, and things, but I don't believe in it being in schools or anything. But I also don't believe that they should have, the 10 Commandments in schools either.
Okay, so you're against pushing religion in schools as well.
Pushing religion too, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Captain C on YouTube, you guys know we run simultaneously on YouTube as well. Captain C says women are too emotional, even the most logical of them. You think women are too emotional to be, at such a position?
That's why I said it would have to be the right one.
Okay.
I think some women are smart enough and not emotional, like that, and could do a very good job.
But when you say that's why I would have to take the right one, is it safe to assume you believe that men are better at the position, but some women aren't qualified?
No, I just think men's had, more experience throughout the years. Women getting in politics has just started, recently.
Yeah, because of men. Because of men.
I agree. I agree.
Right. Okay. All right, Tony, that was an interesting statement. Appreciate you coming in, though, Tony. Come on back anytime, man. Good talk.
No, thanks, sir.
Absolutely. So looking in the comments, wow, so I'm looking at some of the comments, and I will say it is common to have viewers suggest that women are not the best choice for our nation's highest office. I do get a lot of folks that say that. I don't personally agree, but listen, I don't believe in censorship, and there's a lot of folks that believe that. So when my last caller stated it could take 20 years or so, he might be spot on. There's a hell of a lot of men that would not vote for a woman. And there are some women too. I've done some of the videos on my TikTok page that are, you see them, the little 2-minute videos of women. They were at a Trump rally, so I'm assuming you got to suggest they lean right, but women stating, but just like my other caller said, or my other viewer said, the emotional portion of it, that women get emotional and they would not be good as leaders because they can't handle some of the insensitive parts of being a commander-in-chief, such as what Netanyahu is dealing with right now. You think Netanyahu would be more effective if he was a female? What say you? Looking in the comments, Margaret Thatcher was a great female in politics. That is true. What about Angela Merkel of Germany? I think people thought she was okay. Would depend on, and there's a host of nations, by the way, that have had female leaders. New Zealand is another one. Now, New Zealand is a smaller state. You don't hear about it as much on a global scale. They had a mass shooting in their country recently. They banned guns, by the way. So understand that. We go back to the box, asking that question, are Trump's court indictments helping bring in voters to his side? Do you believe him being constantly indicted or indicted to such a great level is actually helping him bring in voters? Going back to the box, Stephen Jacques, I think Jacques, I cannot pronounce that last name, but Stephen, good afternoon. Look how emotional Trump gets, says Epic Helios. Yeah, he does get emotional. Stephen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good to have you on.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. So do you see where Trump's a possibility where Trump constantly being indicted, had his home raided, got his own mugshot? Do you see where that may be helping him bring in voters to his side?
Most definitely. It's showing how the liberals are using the justice system against Trump.
So then I have to ask, because I've heard about Biden's weaponized DOJ. Trump talks about it as well. Is there any solid evidence that Biden is sending the justice system out to get Trump?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. If you look at it as a normal person, just say like the documents, right? Biden was a vice president. He was not allowed with any classified documents whatsoever. It doesn't matter if it was a blueprint on how to put a car together. He wasn't allowed to have them. Okay. But yet they dismissed the charges on him. What more proof do you need?
But that's proof that the justice system is treating Biden differently than Trump, if you're correct. But that's not proof that Biden is directing the system to do that.
I don't know. I mean, who runs the DOJ? Who told the FBI to go raid Trump?
So what you're saying is because Biden is currently the head of the DOJ, which is true, anything they do, he should be held accountable for it?
Well, yeah. I mean, they brief him on everything. Do you think he said, no, don't do it?
Well, I'm not under the, he may have not, hold on. He may have not said, no, don't do it. But if he says, look, let's say, for instance, he was briefed as you stated, and he said, listen, if you have a case, I'm going to leave it in your hands. Does that mean he's at fault for it?
Why would they wait 3 years to do it instead of doing it, when he first got out of office? Why are they waiting until now when it's election year to bring all this against him?
Would that really have mattered? If they had a rush to do it that quick, wouldn't we be accusing them of rushing to get the guy?
I don't know. I think it would have set better with the American people.
You believe
now everybody's believing that he's going against Trump because he don't think he can win the election.
Well, here's the issue I have. Now, you're saying that because Biden controls the DOJ and he is the head of the federal organizations in this country, that he's responsible for what they're doing. Now, remember, under Trump, While he was in control of the federal organizations, he was blaming them for their actions on COVID. He was blaming them for the election being stolen. If you're going to suggest that whoever's in control of the federal government is responsible, then that means Trump botched the 2020 election.
Right. No, and I agree with you. When you're ahead of a major company, you're not in control of all the small entities. But when it comes in front of you 2 or 3 months later, you have the position to either stop it or to keep it going.
Yeah. Real quick in the comments, and by the way, folks, tap the screen. Still 700 plus of you in here. Helps out the algorithm. Get the likes up to around 35,000. And certainly on YouTube, smash that like button. In regards to someone in the comments saying Biden does not control the Department of Justice, he appoints the head of that organization. He has a significant amount of control. That's not accurate. He appoints the head of those organizations, so he does have some control. Go ahead, Steve.
He is the head of all of it. The FBI, everybody comes through him.
Yeah. And so you believe because those organizations are going after Trump, he is responsible for it?
Well, the Democrats, I'm sure that, he has a strong arm that's people's telling him what to do. And I mean, it's just like every president. Trump was the same way. I mean, Trump would have arrested Hillary, but they told him not to. You got a cabinet of people that gives you advice of what to do. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to do what 10 people tell you to do, not what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that, but based on what you're saying, then that makes it sound like Trump botched a host of things that happened under his term, because he was constantly saying the FBI was ineffective and all of that, and he was in control of all those organizations.
Right, but honestly, Trump really didn't have time to do nothing because he fought with the Democrats the whole time he was in office. They tried to impeach him from the minute that he got in office. So he really didn't have time to focus on too much, but yet it's just like anybody can see. I mean, President Biden, when he was vice president, got up for Ukraine and told it on national TV that they're not going to get their money unless they get rid of the prosecutor, okay? But yet they impeached Trump for a phone call.
So are you suggesting that Trump is innocent or that he is being charged for crimes others committed and got away with? I mean, you're making it, you don't sound like you're saying he's not guilty. You're just saying he's being singled out.
Right, exactly. Okay. I'm not saying that he's innocent. I mean, he's a politician now and he's a big time businessman. You show me somebody that hasn't done something wrong. I mean, take our president now, not just saying because I'm against Biden, but take him. When he was a senator, he made $230,000, $240,000 a year. Now, how does he own $4 or $5 million houses, and how is he a multi-millionaire off of making $240,000 a year?
Hang on, Stephen.
I make $140,000 a year, and I live in a little house, and I barely have any money at the end of the year to live on. So how do you become a multi-millionaire?
Stephen, you're telling me that if I appointed you to Congress at the age of 29, like Biden started in Washington at the age of 29, you spent your entire life in Washington being promoted from Congress to Senate to VP to actual president, you wouldn't be a millionaire by now from the age of 29. You would still be struggling?
Not without the lobbyist. How would you become a millionaire?
29. How much you think Mitch McConnell is worth?
Yeah, but see, you guys are looking at it like he takes his $230,000 every year and puts it in the bank. What does it cost you to live and to use and to run the lifestyle that he runs?
Stephen, once you become a member of Washington, a hell of a lot of things you would spend money on are free. He's been in politics since he was 29. Why is it so odd that he's wealthy?
But that's what I'm saying. They wouldn't be there without the lobbyist. If it weren't for the lobbyist, they would not be multimillionaires.
But that applies to everyone in Washington. That is not something unique to Biden, liberals, or anybody that's in Washington.
Right.
Since they're 29, is going to be rich.
You're right. That's why I was just using him as an example. It's everybody that's in Washington is multi-rich. Why? Because they're in Congress. I mean, I'm a firm believer that I think that if the president is only allowed to serve 4 years, then our Congress should only live allowed to be served 4 years. They shouldn't be allowed to become multimillionaires and live on the taxpayers' money.
Then nobody would do it. You understand that position puts you at risk for being assassinated. You're going to tell me I have to do this for low wage? Nobody would do that position. All of them can make a fortune in the private sector and not have to worry about idiots coming and killing them. You think anybody would want to do that?
I don't know who's going to kill the people in Congress. I mean, you might get assassination for the president, but
you ever heard of Gabby Giffords?
I don't ever remember any senator getting assassinated.
You ever heard of Gabby Giffords? Married to an astronaut in Arizona? Getting shot in the head?
I don't recall that now.
Okay, I do got to move it on, but I would invite you to Google Gabby Gifford and think about what you said while you are Googling it.
I will.
All right, Stephen, I got to move it on. Appreciate you coming through.
All right, thanks, sir. Appreciate it, too.
Anytime. By the way, wasn't there a softball game in Washington between congressmen where someone showed up and tried to assassinate everybody on the field? Didn't that happen recently? I mean, I just want to Google that, Stephen. They tried to assassinate everybody playing the game. You don't think congressmen are at risk of... Anytime you're making decisions that could affect people's bottom line, affect things like gun rights and abortion, there's going to be somebody that wants to off you. You're not safe as a congressperson. I don't know what made them think of that. So looking in the comments, someone stated, by the way, before we go back to the box, and thank you for tapping the screen. Still nearly almost 800 of you in here. Thank you. Same on YouTube. Appreciate the smashing of the like button. I don't normally get as much participation on that on YouTube. Think you have to hold it down or whatever, but certainly helps out the algorithm. Brings in more MAGA. You know, MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome. Going back to the comment section. So you justify them making 10 million to being dangerous where I get your grammar's off there, but you're saying, so do I justify them making $10 million because they're in a dangerous position? Biden has been in politics since he was 29 years old. I don't get why folks think the guy should only have 20 or 30,000 in the bank. Even if you work in the private sector at a job since you're 29 and you're damn near 80, 81? You should have a few $1 million by then. If you treated your money right, you should have, why is that so unusual? And here's the bigger kicker on this particular topic. Since when the hell have folks on the right ever criticized success? If you're okay with Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos making infinite money, infinite wealth, why the hell is it so bad that Biden got a few million? I am totally lost on that. Did anybody give a damn when Rudolph Giuliani was sitting there counting the fortune? I don't think the sentiment was the same. When he was on Trump's campaign helping out Trump, nobody asked why Mayor had so much money. I don't get it. Looking in the comments, coming from lucrative public speaking and book deals, according to new financial disclosure, says Chris Rock. Look, I understand that there's corruption in politics. My last caller was absolutely correct about lobbyists and things like that. But as I stated, I don't think anybody would get in the game if they could make a fortune. Most of these folks are attorneys and they have high-level positions often before they become senators, Congress, and certainly president. Why would they go into the gig? Even someone like Barack Obama, who was, what was he? Before he became a president, he was a senator. Before he became a senator, he was like a law professor. He was already well on his way to making good money as a law professor. Why would you go take on this job where people want to kill you? People saying you're born in a damn different country. You're born in Kenya. Why would you go do all this shit if you can't get paid? What would be the purpose of doing it if you can also be killed in the process? I don't see it. I don't get why that is so unusual that a politician is making money. The same is not being said for Jared Kushner. He did all right in politics. Going back to the box, Stick Darula, good afternoon, Stick. Don Snore Leon is not only one with money Mac. Don Snore Leon. Wow. Stick Darula, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hampton. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm hearing the indictments are actually drawing voters to Trump. What say you?
I mean, only the weirdos. I mean, nobody wants their president. Yeah. I mean, they're rooting for everything that's wrong, right?
How so?
And you got, well, I mean, when you look at what he has going on just financially, he's not a good person in the sense of he's not a good businessman. I mean, 3 casinos bankrupt. He's on trial right now. Or he had already got fined $300,000 for fraud. So, I mean, just with just the civil stuff, yeah, he's not the guy. Just with the civil stuff. I'm not even including anything else like SA and the stuff he had with the voting, the fake electors and all of that stuff. Like, I'm not even including that. Just on financials, he's not right for America right now.
So you would agree, JM on YouTube says if you still support Trump after what he and his cohorts did on January 6th, you need your head examined. So you agree with that?
I do. Because number one, they always say you go to the source, right? And the source was Trump. He said that he won and we needed to stop the steal. And everybody that believed what he said tried to stop the steal in their minds. They went out there, they broke windows and put up a different flag, a Trump flag or whatever the case may be, and they hurt officers. They did all sorts of stuff, you know what I mean? And for them to try to downplay it and say it was a love fest and all this other stuff is sickening.
Well, Trump says they're hostages. So you're blaming Trump for what happened on January 6th?
Yeah, I am. And then also Trump said that you will pay. So which one is it? Are they hostages or is it the ones that broke the law will pay? Which one is it?
Well, Trump is suggesting that, listen, they may have broken a few laws, but the punishment does not fit the crime. Some of these folks are doing football numbers.
And we got a lot of black folks that been doing football numbers. And that's another reason why black folks is looking at Trump like he crazy when he thinks that he can actually, he has something in common with us. He has nothing in common with us. You spraying the brown on you. So you're not brown. You don't have nothing in common with me.
He's spraying the brown on him.
He's spraying the brown on him. Now it's not orange anymore. It's a little, little mocha. But he's spraying the brown on him versus, you know what I mean? I mean, Dr. Umar said something that really hits me when I think about Trump. Dr. Umar said, you can't conflate something on how somebody is acting. I be this versus trying to act like something. I'm not trying to act like anything. I be this. In other words, I'm a black man. There's nothing I can do about it to change it. There's nothing that anybody in this world could try to tell anybody else other than I'm a black man. So let's not get it conflated that he's this one guy that's got so much in common with black folks. Like, every black folks don't like gold tennis shoes or tennis shoes, period.
But speaking of acting, let me run this by you. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Give me on up to 55,000. I do appreciate you folks that are doing that. In regards to the suggestion you're not acting black. Speaking of acting, Juice Speed, this is a controversial comment, but Juice Speed on YouTube says, why did the Democrats hire actors? Speaking of acting, why did the Democrats hire actors Arthur Roberts and others to play Biden in a real ski mask for the past 4 years? So in other words, the person you see on TV is not Biden. It's some actor playing that role. I'll give that comment to you. What do you say to that?
what I say is, man, y'all always got some type of conspiracy theory type deal going on, MAGA. Like, stop it. Like, nobody thinks that RFK or JFK or whoever that y'all think is gonna come back alive is coming back. I mean, that's just as crazy as folks thinking that Elvis is alive or Tupac is alive. Come on, stop playing with me.
Okay, before moving on, last question. How do you respond to folks who suggest that Biden did get very wealthy in Washington, indicating that might mean he's corrupt? Why did he get so damn wealthy over the years?
Well, the whole thing of it is I'm not a politician. I don't know about his finances really. I'm not that person that can tell you about his finances. I'm really not that person that can tell you about Trump finances other than when it's in the news.
Right.
So I haven't seen anything about Biden putting out a company that their stocks is plummeting. I haven't seen Biden put out anything about his university. I haven't seen Biden put out anything about his taco salads at his Mar-a-Lago site. So my whole thing of it is again, y'all wanted a businessman. Y'all got one. The businessman that you got was more corrupt than anybody around him. Instead of draining the swamp, he actually added algae to it.
Damn.
That's what he did. He got all the animals in the swamp sick with algae.
Damn.
He's carrying around an algae that he gets people locked up. I mean, we got sayings like MAGA means make attorneys get attorneys, make Americans get attorneys. I mean, that's the algae right there. That's the algae that's getting everybody that's associated with Trump sick. So you wanted a businessman, you got one, and now the businessman has turned into a politician that wants to be a dictator.
So no faith, no desire to see Trump in office in November, huh?
No, not at all. My desire is to see 3 bars in front of him and him holding on to him. You know what I mean? Like, that's the picture I want. They have a doll, an action figure that's Trump in an orange suit, and then the box that is it's looks like he's behind bars. That's the way they have the box. Yeah,
I don't think he'll. I gotta move it on. I gotta move it on stick, but I don't think he'll do time. I don't think he's gonna do time for any of this stuff.
Hey, well, just remember, slide me my ducats when
$20.
Either the. Hey, how about this one? Do you think that new judge is gonna throw his tail in jail for any of the shenanigans that he has going on?
You mean in New York?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll answer that. I got to move it on, but I will answer that on the other side, Stick. Appreciate you coming in here.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
And in regards to his comment, by the way, thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Let me go ahead and push to get you up to 60,000. We got over 800 of you in here, barely, but over 800. So thank you, certainly on YouTube. By the way, if you do enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without any concern of the host trying to block, ban, or censor anyone, you are indeed in the right place. Wow. Thank you for that, Andy. I've never seen it. Thank you. You are in the right place. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Your comments are your comments, and you're allowed to express them here without any concern of that. If you enjoy that, feel free to follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. Smash that like button on YouTube. Tap the screen. Get me on up to 65,000 on TikTok. So, will Trump do any time, particularly the judge in New York, will he end up punishing Trump in any way, holding him in contempt, locking him up? While I don't think that's going to happen, I do have to say it's possible. It's very possible. We know that Trump is doing things in court, even if the charges are all bullshit. I'm going to take this out of MAGA. Let's say all the charges are bullshit. You still can't act like that in court. Even if you get railroaded by the police for whatever they hem you up for, and you go to court, you can't act like Trump without getting held in contempt. Trump got very lucky with George Engeron in the Letitia James case. Now he's doing it here in the Alvin Bragg case. Will he be held in contempt? I don't think so, but I do believe it is possible because he's going to push the envelope as far as he can, and eventually you're going to meet somebody, one of these judges is going to be like, fuck it, I'm willing to bet the farm and just lock this guy up for a week or a night or something like that, just to make a statement. It could happen. It absolutely could happen. The case has not even started yet. They're still picking juror members or jurors. And he's already attacked the judge. His family said the guy has Trump derangement syndrome and all of that shit. Let me just say this. A liberal judging a Republican, I get where the conspiracy or the concern, Andy, thank you. Thank you for those shades. Very kind to you. Even a liberal judging a Republican, I get where the concern, conspiracies, things can come from. But at the end of the day, you never know. You can't just automatically assume the person is corrupt because they work with You don't have a problem with Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, even though his wife is involved in all kinds of right-wing politics. You got Colorado, Maine, and I believe a couple other states that had removed Trump's name from the ballot. Liberal Supreme Court justices, Natasha Brown, Sotomayor, they voted to put his name back on there. So the idea that a Democrat cannot properly adjudicate a case featuring a Republican is not always right. Trump has already made that assumption and proactively started firing shots at the judge. In my humble opinion, before I go back to the box, I believe his antics in court is why he got this ridiculously large sum in regards to the Letitia James case. If you go to court, just about any of us who ever went to court, when it comes to getting fined, sentenced, punished in any way, fashion, or form, your judge usually has a very wide window in terms of what kind of shit he can do to you. So when you go there and you act an ass, you already know you're going to be way over here in terms of that window because of how you're acting. That judge has a really big window of what they can do. Going to court and being disrespectful is not going to help any of us out. I don't get why so many law-abiding Americans are suddenly okay with somebody going to court and treating the judge like shit. We used to be a nation where everybody said if you just comply, won't nothing happen to you. Now we're completely okay with non-compliance. What changed? What changed? Going back to the box. Appreciate you folks that have tapped the screen. We'll go straight to Miss Mobetta was holding on. Andy, I did see you. Miss Mobetta, good afternoon.
Hey.
You there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Peace. We missed you yesterday.
Yeah, we had some serious weather here, tornadoes and all kinds of shit. Wouldn't have hurt. You wouldn't have been able to hear me. So what I'm asking though is, do you believe any of these indictments are possibly bringing voters to Trump?
Yeah, and you want to know why? And see, they're going to follow him all the way up until it's time to go into the voting booth. Because we're in a country where we like scandal, we like mess, we like the entertainment, and this is all that is. This is all entertainment for us. But again, that's why he lost his last time. He had a lot of followers the last time also. Is when they got to them, they thought about it and said, "Wait a minute, we better pump our brakes a little bit." This man got a lot of mess going on.
So when you say people are following him, you mean more like TMZ and paparazzi? They following him for the story, not following him to have him a leader.
Absolutely, because again, we like scandal. We like that stuff. That keeps us entertained. We could go now. You don't really even have to watch the news. You can go on. I'm laughing at that elephant.
That's cute. Thank you, Andy. So what about following him for a good economy? Following him for less global affairs?
Well, see, as far as the economy goes, when he started out in office, he did. He started out. He started out in a good position. You know what I'm saying? He was handling it for the first 2 years, I would give him. And then he started opening his mouth.
Well, in regards to your comment about him running his mouth, I see Juice Spee on YouTube is saying if he would rein in his mouth, he would be in less drama. Do you believe that if Trump would rein in his mouth, potentially more people would vote for him?
Possibly.
What about you? What about you?
My late grandmother used to tell us. This is a saying my grandmother used to say: when you have your hand in a lion's mouth, you have to work easy until you get it out. Wow. The problem is with Trump, he thinks he's the lion. So he keeps sinking his own ship. He's beckoning his own fate. It's not that people are attacking him. You're attacking other people and trying to flip the script like they're attacking you.
So how do you
can't
respond?
have it both ways.
How do you respond to folks who say Trump would have been a much more effective president the first go round if he wasn't dealing with so many attacks, suggesting they never gave him a chance from day one?
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. If he was that man, he would have got a second term. He tried to make up things that the election was stolen and that they did this. He did incite January 6th, even though he can't physically control what people do. He incited that by telling people, it was stolen. I won. Those numbers weren't lying. And if that is the case, here we are 3 years later, almost 4 years later, and you're still hollering that same thing. Nothing has been proven otherwise.
Yeah.
Prove it. You have to prove yourself. Prove to be that man. Because right now, like I said, even when he was in there, how many people under his cabinet has quit, been fired, been locked up, brought up on charges, including his attorney? The top people in your cabinets. Like, come on. And everybody, and what he did now, what the problem is now, he's made MAGA turn against Republican. So he separated the two. That's why people always attacking MAGA. You're not a true Republican. You're a Republican by rhino, by name only. I guess that's what that means. Yeah. So you're making it hard for us to stand up for what we actually believe in because of his shenanigans.
So you see Trump as dividing the Republican Party?
He absolutely did.
So is there any chance?
He absolutely did.
Now, we do need unity in this country. Is there any chance if we do reelect Trump, we could get unity?
I highly doubt it, Tim.
Why not?
I do. Because what's going to happen is people are going to, now everybody else is going to be like, who fixed it so he could get back in there? Well, yeah, so the same story that he's talking is going to come at him again. It's going to go, it was fixed for him. He wasn't there, XYZ. First of all, I don't understand the real laws. I don't know all the laws. I'm like you. I don't know everything. There's a lot of things that I do not know. Right. And for the life of me, I don't even understand how they really allowing this man to even run for this highest position. And with all of this stuff under his belt, even though he has not been convicted, still, like, you go to your HR right now with an SA complaint, what's going to happen? They're going to fire your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going, and that's what makes it so hard too. What makes him above the law? No, right now he's not the president. He's an ex-president. He's actually a civilian. There's no way he should be in that position. I'm sorry. And for those that do support that, you support criminality because he's a criminal.
Well, he got to be convicted first, though, Miss Mobetta.
I hear you.
You don't sound very convincing.
No,
I hear you.
I hear you. That don't mean I'm really listening to that. But that's two different. That's a difference. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is what's making, and this is also dividing a lot of African Americans, black people, so to speak, because they say, Trump was that man. He did more for black people and XYZ. But then when he come out and is like, I feel like a black man. I'm paraphrasing, but I feel like a black man because they're treating me like a criminal. So all of this time, have you known, where was your story about black people being mistreated before they started taking mugshots of you? Where was that fight?
Well, it's working, though. It's interesting you bring that up because it's working. He's comparing himself to Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King. It is working.
The devil is a lie.
Wow.
The devil is a lie. It just makes you angry sometimes. Not really angry, just frustrated to see when he does things, they make excuses. But let you go out there and do the same thing he did. They're going to call you a thug. They're going to call you a criminal. Even Trump himself, when they were taking a knee on the field, if those son of a bitches don't want to do things, you fire them. What makes it different for him?
Okay, well, since we're speaking on Trump, now Kat on YouTube, we run simultaneously there. Kat stated the problem is these people voted for, assuming you're talking about you as well, these people voted for Joe Biden and he is a criminal that is not being prosecuted as well. Is Biden some sort of criminal that's not being held accountable in your eyes?
I prove it to me. I mean, proof, point out to where, because listen, we hold hold the people in our cabinet accountable also. They're not exempt from this stuff. Whether I vote for Biden or not, he's not exempt. If he's a criminal, bring him up on charges. And that's why, they talk about draining the swamp. Oh, he's going after pedophiles. Pedos. I'm sorry if I don't know if I could say that on here. But he's going after pedos or whatever. All right, if he did so much, how many people has been arrested or locked up, or how many children has Trump saved? How many children has he saved in that so-called trafficking and stuff like that? How many people has he saved? Because that was one of their talking points.
Well, wait a minute.
QAnon and MAGA.
Okay, well, I do got to move it on, Mr. Mobetta, but we got to bring up the rolling back of Roe v. Wade. If you want to talk about how many children have Trump saved, rolling back Roe v. Wade is going to save a lot of kids, is it not?
It's going to say how?
They would have been aborted. Now they're actually being born.
That doesn't mean you're saving them. That you know why? Because you're going to have a lot of children and stuff born into this country. You don't want to give welfare. The jobs that are available are not enough for people to survive on. You're going to have you still got this crooked justice system where you're locking up people unjustly. So you're going to have a lot of single parents out there. So let's make it. You can't have it both ways. So is it really saving children? No.
Well,
absolutely not. And what that's doing is taking away rights and trying to feel like they're empowered. That's what it does. It's taking away what people do with their body is their business. Because first of all, that's between the woman and God, as far as, and that's even with the LBT.
Let me interrupt you. I'll let you continue, but that's what you just said is a common statement, as opposed to the government getting involved. Is between a woman and God. In my opinion, I have to bring this up. God is why you have the problem to begin with. God should not be mentioned at all. It should be between a woman and her doctor, but maybe I'm getting it wrong.
True.
Go ahead.
No, true. But when it comes to God, listen, I believe in God wholeheartedly. Very spiritual person. We are spiritual beings, whether you go whatever. What happens is the people of this country, a lot of people in this country try to use religion as a scare tactic. And we know religion gets broken down culturally. There's different cultures and different things. So it's going to appear like people are bucking back and forth or whatever. So, but God definitely really doesn't belong in politics, because politics is dirty.
Right.
So I get what you're saying on that. However, it still should be the woman's choice with limits. With some limits, if that's what she chooses to do, that's her business, as long as she can afford to do so mentally and financially. That's between her. The government should have no say so in that whatsoever.
I can't disagree with you.
It's disgusting, but of course we pray for a better day. Here in this land, one of the greatest countries in the world, you know what I'm saying, and this is the reason why we haven't been bombed yet, because we are a great country.
Our military has something to do with that too.
Well,
Miss Mobetta,
that too. Our military is the bomb. You know what I'm saying?
Because every country on this planet that has been bombed also features people that are praying. So I think the military may have more to do with us not being bombed than God. But I do got to move it on, Miss Mobetta. Thank you very much. All right, looking in the comment section, why do Dems keep cheering on the death of more Ukrainians? Where are you seeing that at? Democrats cheering on the deaths of Ukrainians. I don't think that makes much sense, considering Democrats are the ones who want to fund the Ukrainians, and the Republicans are the ones that send their corrupt neo-Nazis with biolabs, and they're favoring Russia. Billy Lemons, your comment doesn't make sense. I'm just going to say that. What every biblical leader was God-fearing. Nuevo. Yeah, they tell you that. Every biblical leader tells you they're God-fearing. But we all know there's a hell of a lot of leaders of religious organizations, from pastors to priests to cardinals, that were doing a hell of a lot of sinning in the background. So they may be telling you they feel one way, but in reality, it just might be on the take. You don't know. You don't know what's in somebody's heart. Moving the program on real quick. Trump will be our next president. And lies from the left won't stop him, says Red 68. 7 months? 7 months or so? Could be. We'll see. We'll see. Tap the screen. 80,000 likes is possible if you show your boy some love. Let your thumbs not be lazy. 900 of you folks that could be anywhere you want is still rolling with us, so it is an honor to have you here. Same on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. Main Mermaid says tons of proof, bank records. Also look up Project Talon. President Trump created that special forces team to save children, young people from human trafficking. Thousands saved. Biden dismantled Biden dismantled via Exor. I've never heard of any of that. Main Mermaid. Going back to the box, the one and only. No way I could not notice you, Andy. Thank you for your generosity. Speaking of which, good afternoon, Andy. Hey,
hello.
Hey, so we're talking about indictments.
Fire on politicians and wounding House GOP.
Hold on 1 second. I have a background going. Hold on.
Okay.
Representatives have been practicing for the annual congressional baseball
That's
game.
loud. Okay, there we go. That's better. You there, Andy? Okay, why don't we fly the migrants? Hang on. Why don't we fly the migrants to Ukraine? Stop domestic flights. Someone asked that. Billy Lemon said, why don't we fly the migrants to the Ukraine? How do you respond to that?
Well, if they don't want to follow the Constitution and they want to kidnap people and fly them to another country, I'm pretty sure that's trafficking and against the law.
So you're saying that, yeah, you're right. So the migrants come here and we fly them to a war zone. Yeah, to me, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, I find that to be rather hilarious, disingenuous, and not even close to, what actually needs to be done because God knows they don't know the Constitution.
Yeah. So when it comes to President Trump, though.
Oh, I would like to clear something up. Biden got his money. I went and looked it up while y'all were talking. He has excessive amounts of property. And his property has gained him quite a lot of money, not to mention his book deals and his personal engagements.
Yeah. I don't, in my opinion, like I said before, if you've been serving the public since you're 29 and you're a millionaire, a multi-millionaire like Biden, to me, it doesn't surprise me. The same way if you went into a company at the bottom and by the time you were 70 or 80 years old, you were the CEO of that company because Biden rather has climbed all the way to the top, you're going to be a millionaire. That's kind of how it happens.
And I would like to point out that, they're wanting to put a man in office who literally pooped his pants yesterday. Let out a horrible, and we know he wears a diaper. And then
hold on. Where is Takesha says that too. Why do people say the man wears a diaper? Where's that coming from? He cannot control. He's incontinent.
Have you not heard? Who was it? Adam Kinzinger, I think, talk about how bad he smells and how that. There's actually interviews about Trump's diaper.
I have not seen them. Please send me what you got in the inbox.
Look, you didn't look. Did you look at the last stuff I sent you about women?
I don't know.
And I can tell you didn't because you had to poll your damn audience, and then they turned around and said they didn't want us to vote. And I sent you a ton of videos on that. You need to do a whole show on that, damn.
So you believe the right doesn't want women to even be able to vote?
Well, you saw your audience. We got two candidates running. What more do you need?
Well, I get a lot of folks on the right who believe women should not be in positions of leadership like the president, but not being able to even vote.
They want us barefoot and in the kitchen. And there are two actual candidates running for office, Robinson and I can't remember the other one's name right now. He's running for Congress that Trump endorsed that both said women shouldn't vote. And I sent you a video on both those two people too.
I gotta look and see what you've been sending me then. So you really think it is an effort to roll back women's rights, not just give rights to the states?
Well, they've basically been trying to put us back in the kitchen since Roe. Talking about getting rid of birth control. Alabama's talking about trying to make Plan B an abortion pill because they think an egg is frozen life in a test tube still. Tell me how ridiculous that is.
Well, religion is involved in this, Andy, and people believe...
Yeah, but it shouldn't be.
No, I agree. I agree.
George Washington was a denizen. Do you know that? Do you know what that is?
No.
It means he did not believe in flaunting his religion. He did not pray in public. He did not think other people should pray in public. He thought that was private and your religion should stay to yourself. That's what that means.
Yeah, I don't favor putting religion in politics either because it's so judgmental.
Well, it doesn't work. And Virginia's named Virginia for a reason. It was the Virginia Trading Company. The people that came here on the Mayflower were the strangers, the merchants, and the Quakers. And after they got here, the Quakers like booked it. And the the people that came here to trade, and the strangers, which were just a group of people that were not, traders.
Well, let me say this, because you mentioned religion and politics. Duran on YouTube makes a good point. If you look at our money, it says "In God We Trust."
1947 didn't get there till 1947 during the Red Scare of the communist thing. So that's not got anything to do with our forefathers. That's got to do with a bunch of people that wanted to get rid of communism. It wasn't even in our original Pledge of Allegiance. If you go look.
So you're saying all this happened out of fear of communism? We decided to move toward God?
The 40s, yeah.
Huh. I've never heard that before. So
you can look it up. I'll send you a video on that too.
You're going to educate the hell out of me. So then let me ask you this question. You can educate me a little bit more. Are these mugshots bringing voters to Trump?
No.
Folks suggest his support is growing.
Yeah, well, Trump also sat there and he goes, they feel sorry for me, and laughed about it.
I don't know if I've seen that. I mean,
Go watch that video. He actually snickered. They feel sorry for me, and he snickered. He finds that to be amusing that y'all actually feel sorry for him.
Well, yeah, but people do believe the guy is being railroaded. I mean, 88 charges. Some folks
he admitted to what he's doing now. Out in front of the court yesterday, he was trying to explain why what he did was okay and incriminated the hell out of himself.
But what about the idea that Trump, let's say he did it like you're suggesting, but what about the idea that he's claiming that you didn't charge everybody else that does this, you're singling me out? Is that possible that is happening?
No, there are other fraud cases in New York. You can go look them up.
What about what about the documents where both Mike Pence...
It's like when he said nobody had ever gotten a judgment as large as that $400 million. When I could go to Oracle and find one for $1.5 billion, I mean, he wasn't even in the top 5. He needs to quit crying.
But that whole $335 million that Letitia James won, you don't believe that was excessive at all?
Compared to the $1.5 billion, no.
Compared to what they accused him of doing, do you think it was successful?
I mean, Tim, there are a lot more cases out there that are a lot higher. He got what he deserved. I'm sorry that people don't like justice, but Donald Trump is not above the law.
And $335 million, where there's nobody. Hold on, hang on.
Wait, didn't you say? Wait. Hold on. Didn't they say that he's billionaires and big? He should have that in his pocket.
That ain't what I'm asking you. But that's not what I'm asking you, Andy. I'm asking you.
It's not excessive. I told you why I didn't think it was excessive, and you keep asking me the same question. It's not going to change. There are much bigger settlements.
No one out there complaining that they're a victim. No one complaining that they're a victim due to his actions. $335 million, not excessive at all.
Most people don't cry when they know they committed a crime. Bernie Madoff left the country.
Yeah. Perhaps he should have considered it as well.
Why people can't have Swiss bank accounts anymore. So don't think New York don't go after just everybody. They chased his ass out of the country and pried open the banking system for him. Trump ain't special.
So let me ask it to you this way then, since you don't think it's excessive. If Trump had not announced he was seeking re-election, do you think he would still be dealing with this?
He announced way earlier. They already had these charges. We all know this. We've been through this.
So you don't think none of these charges or any of the amounts or anything has anything to do with him running for president?
No, it has to do with him committing crimes.
I don't know. I got to disagree with you somewhat, Andy. I'm not saying the guy...
You can disagree all you want. I mean, you and I can not...
Yeah, we do.
We disagree on. But, once again... this isn't just about an opinion you're having. It's not based on anything you actually have gone and researched. So I'll just take it at face value. Okay. So speaking of, we were talking about women earlier. Free my grandma. Controversial comment. I'll give it to you. Let you tackle it. Said exactly why a woman.
talking about your statements, exactly why a woman should never lead a man's household. In regards to your conversation, what say you?
Women lead households all the time. We raise kids. We generally handle the money. We dress y'all. Have y'all seen y'all when y'all get a cold? I swear to God. Let y'all get the flu, the world has come to a damn end. Women keep working. So women aren't as near as emotional and stuff because we have to work through our problems. We just can't be sick with the kids and shit. That's a male privilege thing. I'm sorry.
So you believe women are better at running the household. Real quick, Haiti M says, I like this channel. Thank you, Haiti, and honor having you here. Feel free to drop a subscription if you will. Thank you for your comment. So you believe that women are better at running the household than men?
I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed turning you into a dress-up doll.
Oh, my God. Well, I do appreciate your support, but damn. So I'm assuming... based on what you're saying, out of those 9 folks that was running against Trump, you don't believe, and talking with the Republicans that were seeking the highest office before Trump became the nominee, you don't believe the Republicans picked their best candidate for choice?
Well, no. And not only that, Trump, women can juggle a million things at once. That's right. No, I mean, look, Trump has already been, on January 6th, do you remember Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham both saying he was guilty after the fact that night?
Yeah.
Trump this morning, yesterday morning, sat there and told how he thought it was okay that he paid off Stormy Daniels. I mean, he just sat there, just out and out confessed before the trial, trying to make excuses for it, and actually admitted to it. I mean,
but he states he said he didn't sleep with her. He may have admitted paying her off, but he said he never slept with her.
The problem is we're not charging him for sleeping with him. We're charging him for using campaign finance, finances to pay her off. That's illegal. And even in the documents case, he's not saying he's not guilty. He asked for immunity. He asked for a pardon. How are we supposed to say that he's not guilty when he won't say he's not guilty?
Well said. All right, Andy. I do got to move it on. Can't argue with
Thanks,
that.
Tim.
Anytime. And thank you, by the way. Thank you. Moving the program on, the charges were brought while Biden was retired. Which charges? The charges were brought by Biden. Okay, she can't afford a blue state, but still supports Dem policies. Angle Fan Gaming, certainly a friend of the program. Angle Fan, in regards to the comment, she can't afford a blue state, but still supports the Dem policy. I'm not going to speak on the woman's finances, by the way. My last caller lives in Alabama, but I will say this. That is possible, that some folks may be voting Democrat, even though, as you said, they can't afford a dim state. In other words, the economy sucks where you're at, but why do you keep voting Democrat? Fact is, a lot of folks vote based on things that have nothing to do with the economy. Ask the average woman, particularly a younger woman that is still fertile, would you be willing to give up your abortion rights for $2 gas? Saving money is not the top thing on everybody's roster. That switches from voter to voter. A lot of folks, I had folks on the program suggest that they would rather pay $10 a gallon for gas than re-elect Trump. So understand, even though Trump gets higher marks than Biden on the economy, everybody's not voting based on the economy. Some folks are voting because of abortion. Some folks believe the guy's a threat to democracy. Others might believe he's a criminal. Throwing up $2 gas may not save every voter. Certainly when gas is not outrageously priced anymore. Looking in the comments, Sylvan Adair, thank you for the super chat, asked the question, who is not guilty in Washington? You're suggesting that everybody in Washington is a criminal. Wow. I don't know about that. Everybody in Washington is a criminal. Let me throw out somebody who's incredibly unpopular. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. What crimes has she committed? Or on the other side, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Notice both of them have they got their middle names included in their shit. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Marjorie Taylor Greene are like literally the same thing on both sides of the aisle. But I want to ask something. Well, maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene does a few more provocative things than AOC. But let me just say this. Do you think either one of them committed a crime? Do you see AOC or MTG as criminals? I don't know, Sylvan, in regards to who's not guilty in Washington. I don't think MTG or AOC has ever been have been accused of committing crimes. Not yet. Not yet. So looking in the program, let's get this over with. This controversy has made millions of people millions of dollars. Which controversy? Which controversy? That came from YouTube. Some politicians are just better at their crimes. JN79, I don't quite understand what you were saying. They're going back to the box, asking that question: are the court indictments, are they bringing voters to Trump? In other words, his base, the amount of votes he gets in November, has grown due to the fact that he's constantly been arrested, indicted, and charged with so much shit. What say you? Going back to the box, we'll bring up, I don't know what just happened there. We're always having problems here. Kelly Dutcher, good afternoon, Kelly. Could the courts be helping re-elect Trump? Kelly, good afternoon. What say you?
Hi, how you doing today?
Good to have you back on. Are the courts helping re-elect Trump?
I freaking hope not.
Why not? What's wrong with what would be wrong with a second Trump presidency?
Well, all the things he tried to do, but his, cabinet, staff members, whatever, said, no, Mr. President, you can't do that. That's illegal.
You mean, you said
he's gonna have a bunch of yes men.
But you said all the things he tried to do, like the economy, like protect the border. Do you give him any credit for that?
I don't know how much he protected the border. The economy, the economy tanked because he didn't handle COVID. I won't say properly. I will say at all. And if anybody listens to the Trump tapes, that's Bob Woodward's interviews with him. He's documented every presidency since after Nixon.
Yeah. Now, on hearing
he knew how bad it was and totally ignored it.
In regards to your comment, and by the way, folks, tap the screen. Almost 900 of you here. We're definitely near 100,000. Feel free to get your boy up over 100,000 likes with a little bit of tapping of the screen. Smash that like on YouTube. You know how the program works. In regards to your comment there, Kelly, on YouTube, Victor John says to name some of the things Trump did wrong. If you think Trump is such a bad leader, name something he did wrong when he was in office.
Well, I just did. He totally ignored handling COVID.
What do you mean ignored?
Well, he knew exactly how bad it was, and he did nothing about it. He dismantled the task force for pandemics. He said, well, let's just let the states handle it. And states ended up bidding against each other just to get ventilators.
But we lost tens of thousands of people to COVID. Are you suggesting that Trump is responsible for some deaths?
We lost over 1 million.
Do you see Trump as Do you see Trump as responsible for anybody dying of COVID?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So he has deaths on his hand.
Yes. And not just COVID deaths. I wanted to just address things.
Before you address that, and I'll let you address it. You said not just COVID deaths. I need you to elaborate on that.
All right. Well, there was a circumstance where his son-in-law approached the government of Qatar because he needed somebody to help him bail out his doomed property. And, as fate would have it, it's 666 Fifth Avenue. It's a money pit. And that's no lie. That's really the address of it.
Wow.
Anyway, the government of Qatar said no. And Trump put them on the travel ban. Now, they're an ally. And they would help us with, traversing the Middle East where ISIS hung their roots, their habits, and they would like take our special forces through safely. Well, when he put them on the no-fly list or the travel ban, their troops just left our soldiers where they were, and who can blame them? They walked right into an ambush and were all slaughtered.
So you're blaming the deaths of some American servicemen on Trump?
Yes.
Wow. Surprised that hasn't made bigger news. I haven't heard much about that.
It was big news at the time. I mean, it was during his first year.
How many, because we know Biden with the botched evacuation in Afghanistan, he took blame for those 13. How many died in that event?
6. I mean, it was a small force, but, it doesn't really matter. And the reason things don't make bigger news than they probably should is because he was doing something messed up every single day.
Damn.
Dropping out the thing he did the day before.
I can't believe I missed it. And I see Big Rooster Show. Certainly, I see you highlighted in orange. Thank you for your support of the program. Says that was very big news. I guess that would have been 2017 or so. I probably heard of it, but it doesn't ring a bell.
No, well, like I said, something happens and it's drowned out with the next bad thing he's done.
Wow.
And as far the two things I did want to address is who, and I know this is going to cause some, people to freak out, but a woman asked who isn't guilty, who isn't a criminal in Washington, and my answer to that is Joe Biden. Is not a criminal.
The big guy? 10% to the big guy. He's not a criminal. You don't think Biden done anything wrong?
Not a big guy. He's not the big guy. In fact, those files on the laptop, well, that's just from a hard drive from the laptop, which he didn't drop off. And the reason nobody thought it was his is because he didn't think it was his, because he never took it there. No. He was literally in California at the time.
I'll let you continue, but I just want to say this in regards to the comments we made about Trump, you suggesting Trump is responsible for COVID deaths. On YouTube, John says she definitely is boosted 12 times, vaccinated and boosted 12 times. In regards to your comments about the COVID and the vaccine, why do people think getting vaccinated is that damn bad? I don't know, but go ahead and continue. I saw that and wanted to bring it up.
I'm vaccinated and boosted twice, and I've never gotten COVID.
Same.
And I've in crowded situations, clubs in New York City, and I have never gotten it.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I have been vaccinated and boosted every time they told me to get boosted. I've never had COVID either. So, and I don't attract magnets. And, I had some folks tell me that I would be dead by the winter of 2021 because the vaccine was poison. None of that happened to me. None of that happened to me either.
Of course not.
Yeah.
What was I saying? What were we talking about?
Talking about Biden not being a criminal.
Oh, right. And he's not. And you were talking about if people thought if the $338 million was, extreme, is,
Letitia James. You talking about Letitia James getting
way unreasonable. Yes. Yeah. There's actually a very specific formula they use. And because this is not a fine and it's not punishment per se, it's not punitive damages. What it is the total of the ill-begotten gains, the money he made off of the loan that he shouldn't have got because of his fraud.
But no victims, Kelly, no victims. I mean, Trump didn't victimize anybody that's speaking out. 335, huh? You think it's legit too?
Well, that's how much money he made off of the loan that he shouldn't have gotten.
All right. Okay.
He already had defaulted once on a loan with that same bank.
But even the bank is not complaining.
Well, because the bank's already been in big trouble. The bank's already been fined hundreds of millions of dollars for laundering Russian money. And the commercial branch of that bank actually denied him the loans. It was a private equity fund arm of the bank
that loaned him the money, which is basically another word for shady rich people loaning other shady rich people money, through a bank.
We know that happens a lot. All right, Kelly. Well said. Appreciate it. Good conversation. Always welcome back. You know how we do. Thank you for coming through.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Anytime, and the feeling is mutual. So, looking in the comments, this lady definitely drank the Kool-Aid. Jennifer, what Kool-Aid are you suggesting my last guest drank, and what leads you to make that statement? Thank you, folks, who are tapping the screen. Go ahead and continue on. 120,000 likes are not impossible if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Program is always will remain MAGA friendly. Haven't had a lot of Trump supporters today, which I'm shocked, but we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. Understand the program runs on an uncensored format. You don't have to agree with anybody in the comment section or even yours truly, because we do support free speech. If you do enjoy civilized dialogue in such a manner, feel free to follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central is where you'll find the program. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. Looking in the comments briefly. Wow, there's a hell of a lot of you on YouTube today. Wow, hopefully you guys are showing your boy some love with the subscription. With the history of the federal government, including the Tuskegee Airmen, I'm surprised any black person got the shot. Dustin, we were told racism in this country ended hundreds of years ago. So if racism is over, if we're in a post-racial America, we shouldn't be bringing up what happened in Tuskegee, right? So I just want to mention that. Now, your comment makes perfect sense. However, I'm bringing this up because you can't pick and choose when to tell minorities to bring up racism. Don't bring it up when we don't like it, but it's okay to bring it up when we agree with you. You can't do that. You're picking and choosing. Looking in the comments, racism was much, much better before Obama. Angela, probably true to some degree. Racism is always going to be much better before other people have a say at the table. Some would suggest right now in 2024, this is the most divided period in American history. I'm not going to totally disagree with that. However, it's not all due to who's running the White House, whether it's Trump or Biden. I've said before, fact is, more Americans have a place at the table than ever before. You go back 50 years, nobody gave a damn what the LGBT community had to say. Nobody cared about what blacks or minorities had to say. Women had a much more marginalized role in America, particularly in politics. So nowadays, everybody is sitting at the table speaking on their behalf for their own best interest. That used to not be allowed. So the country is going to be less divisive when you don't give a damn about the opinions of most of the people in it. So, yeah, we're going to be more divisive. And there will be other groups in the future that will also end up with a seat at the table. That's how it works. That's what progression is about. Going back to the box, though, jealousy is a lot of America's problems. So many afraid others are going to have what they don't. I don't know if that's jealousy. I think that's more like selfishness. Folks are afraid other people are going to have what they don't. I don't know. I think it's more like selfishness. I'm at the top. I got my piece of the pie. And damn it, I don't want you to have an equal say. Going back to the box, Fuzzard, X3. Good afternoon, Fuzzard. Welcome to the program. So, and I see somebody said absolutely selfishness. Yeah. So do you believe that these indictments are drawing support to Trump?
No, not new support. They're just getting louder. It's the same people. It's the same MAGA crew. Okay. They're just. It's like when let's use a football analogy. Everyone hated Kansas City. Well, every time San Francisco scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, San Francisco Lions were super loud.
Yeah.
So
you're just saying it's it's all about noise. It's not about actually growing the crowd.
Sure, exactly.
Wow.
That's all it is. it's just louder. And if you look if you buy into the polls, I think Biden's within 1 point now.
Yeah.
So
Biden, and that is true. Biden's support, or better yet, Biden's position is the word I'm looking for. Biden's positions in the polls is growing. What do you think is causing that?
A couple things. As much as people want to say it's not going well, he's doing what he can in Israel. He's doing what he can. He's saying the right things. How it's going.
I gotta disagree with you. Biden could have told it, because we just gave them more weapons not long ago. Biden could have prevented. He could have stopped that. He could have stopped that shipment. Whatever money that they've given us to purchase these weapons, he could have given their money back. He has continued arming them throughout this.
But who are you disenfranchising by doing that? You know, and who, like, in here in the U.S., you have Israel supporters in the U.S.
Yeah.
You have people that believe that Israel has every right to defend themselves against Hamas.
Yeah, but do you think right now in, April of 2024, over 6 months after October 7th, do you think Israel is still acting in self-defense?
It's not my opinion.
Yeah.
Tim.
Okay.
This is not where I stand. I'm just telling you there are people, and what Biden is saying, he is right on the fence. You know, he's still giving a little support because they are our allies. We can't just turn our backs on them. Hamas is a terrorist group, so we can't say, well, let the terrorists run. But at the same time, he has voiced, you know, we got to step back a little bit. So it's a tough bridge. So I think some of that is helping. He has also spoke up recently against Iran, saying no more. But Israel, don't fire back either. They did a tit for tat.
Well, they've also expressed interest in responding to the Iranian attack as well. So Israel, first of all, the notion that, because we condemned Iran for their attack a few days ago, but we didn't condemn Israel for attacking Iran, which sparked this off. Are we taking sides?
On that front?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah, I mean,
but we're also saying
Israel bombed an embassy. Yeah, Israel bombed an embassy in Syria that had a bunch of high-level ranking Iranian military personnel. Why the hell they do that? I mean, why did they get a pass on that?
I agree. I'm on your side. I don't think we should. But at the same time, we're saying Israel, they retaliated. Step back. And Netanyahu hasn't said one way or the other yet, but he's saying we're going to make our own decisions. I just think Biden is saying things correctly. And that's only one aspect. I think people are also getting sick of Donald Trump and all of his bullshit. I mean, people are getting sick of it.
But we didn't have these conflicts under Donald Trump. What about that?
We didn't have these conflicts under Donald Trump? Well, he just went out and bombed Syria himself. We didn't have to have other people do it.
That is true. That's funny. That is true.
We were not at war. We were the entire 4 years. We were in Afghanistan. So I don't know what they keep saying. We had no war under Donald Trump, and then they'll turn around and say, "Well, no new wars." Well, then Barack Obama didn't have any new war.
Yeah, but you gotta admit, in terms of global chaos, the planet. And I don't want to get Trump this much damn credit, but it did happen under his watch. The planet was a more peaceful place compared to it is now. You don't agree with that?
I mean, there's all kinds of different factors. Let's start with Ukraine and Russia, okay? But Russia is a big part of why Russia wanted Ukraine, wanted them off the territory, wanted NATO pushed away.
Okay.
Who was going to more likely destroy NATO in favor of Putin? So Putin wants NATO dissolved.
Yeah, but I'm going to speak on Trump's behalf. I'll play the devil's advocate role. Was Trump really trying to destroy NATO, or was he trying to make sure they kept up to their obligations in terms of their defense budget?
He knows NATO would never keep up with it. So ultimately, he wanted us out. NATO isn't going to... You have to understand, it's in the United States' best interest for us to pay more, for us to give more aid. Why? Gives us the loudest voice. We doesn't want Germany to be even with us on pay because they want an even voice. Hey, whoa, hold on. We want to say as much as the United States. When you pay as much as us, when you give as much in arms and defense, then you have a say. But until then, so it's in our interest to give more than the rest of the world. It 100% is.
I do agree with that. That even though we're talking about ending global affairs and, certainly on the MAGA side of the aisle, talking about, taking care of home and not getting involved with overseas conflicts and things like that. I agree with you that if we did that, we would become a much weaker country. The fact is we like being involved in events on a global scale because it does give us leverage and power. A superpower cannot remain a superpower if they're only focused on what's happening at home. So I do agree with that part. But if we had Trump in office, some suggested he would stop some of these conflicts. He said himself he could end the Ukrainian-Russian war in 24 hours. What say you, Fuzzer?
24 hours. I actually read an article on this, and I started to do a video on it. I think I finished the video. Anyways, there was the one thing that Putin and I can't think of Ukraine's leader right now.
Zelensky,
thank you. Putin and Zelensky agreed on, and it was a whole article, and they both agreed. There's no way Donald Trump makes a difference in what's happening right now.
Yeah.
No way.
But is that because it has gotten so far along under Biden? Maybe in the beginning stages, Trump could have said something and stopped it.
Well, the one thing that would have stopped it was dissolving of NATO. And I think if Putin's best interest was to have Trump in power, because that was the best chance of NATO being dissolved. Yeah. That was Putin's best chance.
What about, but in regards to speaking of these leaders like Putin and Zelensky and the Kim Jong-uns and folks like that of the world, how do you respond to folks who suggest that America is a laughing stock under Biden? Do you believe worldwide America was viewed more favorably under Trump than under Biden?
Did you hear Donald Trump? I think it was at the UK. I want to say it was a G20. It was either maybe G7. But he was speaking at Ukraine. He made a comment, and literally, not figuratively, not behind his back.
They broke out laughing.
Literally laughed at his comment, and he said, "I was not expecting that."
Yeah, I do recall that. You're right. So, the world laughed at the man.
Literally to his face. So, I mean, who's laughing at who? I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone is laughing at Joe Biden. I think they're impressed. I mean, everyone wants to say Biden's putting us in war. He has kept us out of war thus far. No boots on the ground. We are fighting Putin, who is our most obvious enemy since the Cold War, Russia. Mm-hmm. And we're at as low of a cost as possible. We're exposing Russia for how weak they are by just simply giving Ukraine the little brother to Russia, giving them some supplies. And they're kicking butt as long as we keep supplying them.
I hear that the Speaker of the House, which is pissed off Marjorie Taylor Greene and the likes of Matt Gaetz, is about to give more money to the Ukraine. So apparently the party's about to continue.
It sounds like Saturday. Yeah, sounds like Saturday. Going to put it on the floor. Which, by the way, now you're going to go through another Speaker of the House in a year, guys.
But that also leads to the question, because a lot of folks shot down the border bill. I'm talking to my beloved MAGA folks on the right, who said the border bill was trash because it had money for the Ukraine and Israel in it. Well, now that we're going to give them money anyway without the border bill, do you have the stomach now to entertain the border bill, since that part of it won't be in it anymore? What do you think?
They have no excuse now, right?
Yeah.
They have no excuse. And by the way, the funding for Ukraine started first, and the Republicans said, "No, we're not going to do this until you put border stuff into this." So it was the Republicans that wanted the pork inside the Ukraine bill. Okay, let's add so here's your border stuff, everything you want. So it's already their bill, and they wrote it, by the way. They literally wrote it themselves.
Yeah, I gotta move on further, but I agree with you. I think the Republicans thought it was a done deal until they got a phone call from Trump. So, Fuzzer.
Last thing I want to say,
real quick.
I had a whole slew of stuff I wanted to talk to you about, and we didn't touch one of them. Anyways,
that happens.
The last thing I get tired of hearing is the most attacked man. Okay, from the very first day, Donald Trump. Really, who had articles of impeachment on the very first day of office? Joe Biden. Very first day, Marjorie Taylor Greene put articles of impeachment against Joe Biden before he could even do anything wrong.
Wow.
That's all I want to say, Tim. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Anytime. Thank you, Fuzzard. Welcome to the program. Appreciate you coming back through. Looking in the comments, no money for our kids and our poor families. Has there ever been any money for our kids and our poor family? You vote somebody in that is going to try to help out your kids and your poor family, and they'll be accused of running on handouts. I've said this numerous times on the program. If you don't want to send money to the Ukraine or money to global affairs, just come out and say that shit. All of this issue about that money could be used at home, helping out people. There's no stomach in this country for doing that. Otherwise, you would have a whole bunch of politicians, particularly on the right, that are pissed off with Biden sending money to the Ukraine. They would be stepping up and saying, since we started sending money to the Ukraine, I can no longer do this for my constituents. I can no longer do that. Notice how no one is boasting about how they used to help out the poor before the money went to the Ukraine. It wasn't happening, folks. It wasn't happening. So anybody telling you that money could be used in America to help out the poor here is being disingenuous. Just stick to the facts, which is I don't believe our money should be helping out the Ukrainians, helping out the Israelis, or whatever the hell you believe the money should not be going to. Just come out and say that. All of this bullshit about how you want to help out the poor, that's socialism, right? That's not going to happen. It wasn't happening before, and it's not going to happen after. It's just being used as an excuse to divert the money from them. That's my opinion. Looking in the comments. Or just say you don't want to help homeless and the poor. Mookie. That would work too. That would work too. Looking in the comments before we move the program, y'all can prop up the left all you want. Imagine promoting your own destruction, says John. Propping up the left is promoting your own destruction. Where's the evidence? We've had a lot of left-wing leaders in America since its inception. In my humble opinion, America's only become a stronger nation. I don't see where propping up the left is going to promote your own destruction. I would find out where you lie on the humanities spectrum before saying it. You think it's going to destroy the LGBT community by propping up the left? Depends on what you're voting for. That comment I got to disagree with, though. Thank you, folks, for tapping the screen. We're going to go right on up to 130,000 if you continue doing so. Certainly on YouTube, smash that like button. We're here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central, weekdays, Monday through Friday. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You don't have to agree with anybody in the comment section, including yours truly. If you got a different opinion from every damn body in here, nobody cares. You will be allowed to speak. Left of Bernie Sanders to having dinner with QAnon. We believe in free speech. Going back to the box, appreciate Carlos Zidion holding on. Good afternoon, Carlos. Short on MAGA today. Short on MAGA today. Why is that? Carlos, good afternoon.
How you doing, handsome?
I'm doing good.
Again. Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
Yeah.
So are the mugshots, the indictments, the court cases. Are they bringing votes to Trump?
They are not. It looks like it in the early phases because these type of things that bring eyeballs to it, they really motivate his base, but they're not moving the middle and they're not swinging those that are on the fringe. So you're not going to get the independents. Those hardliners are going to stay. They're the ones that are going to respond because they're going to tell you that he's great. But when you get to the general, none of that matters. It's not going to happen. Everything that happened, the data point is the last time he was president. But let me tell you something, handsome. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
I actually was on a live yesterday and I said I might vote for Trump. I just might.
Elaborate.
Okay, so I absolutely deplore the man. I think he's horrific. I think he is the destructor of democracy. I do.
But he might get your vote.
No, well, he just made. I'm going to explain why. Because to me, the only metric I care about, the whole idea of self-made man, et cetera, is body counts. Like, who is actually helping the world get better, get safer? Okay, there is an argument, and I actually went and looked it up, that there are more people have died. And I am biased because I was in Afghanistan, I was in Iraq, I've been in those wars, I've been in those places, and I see the effects of what's happened to the women that the Taliban now are not allowing to go to school. Like, I see the effects of all that, and seeing the number of people that have passed away under Biden is greater than those that have died under Trump.
But wait a minute though. And by the way, thank you for your service. You've been in 2 combat zones. In regards to you suggesting that, pointing out the Taliban controlling Afghanistan and it being rolled back, you're talking about more deaths under Biden. How do you feel about the fact that Trump is the one that handed Afghanistan back to the Taliban?
So about that. So there were, trust me, we don't do anything without a plan. Okay, Trump just signed the order. There were very, very smart people. I was a Marine, so at the time when that was signed, we had 2 Marines in Trump's cabinet, 2, right? Okay. And so I felt comfortable that he was getting not only good advice, he was getting the best advice. Okay. The best advice, right? So we had a plan. There was observers. It's just like there was in Iraq. You had what they call overwatch bases, places that were going to be there a long time, like Anaconda, Al-Assad, places in the south like Nasiriyah. Like, those places were going to be there almost in perpetuity. When we said we're going to pull people out, I know Trump signed that agreement. When I came home, I said, man, Biden, you got to stop this. Like, do you credit Trump for handing Afghanistan, even though Biden didn't stop it? I see you, do you fault Trump for handing that country back to the Taliban? No. You don't, because the Taliban was trying to become a political organization, and we were going to make sure. See, you have to understand the hierarchy there. The sheikhs run it, right? There are leaders of the tribes that run it. Taliban is just a cover name. There are individual tribes that run that country, and they then have to approve anything that's going to happen within their regions, like their states. They're like governors.
Who did Trump negotiate with in Afghanistan?
All of them. See, like, they were all in a room. They went to Kandahar, and then they went to Bagram Air Base.
Did he negotiate with the Taliban as well?
That's what I'm saying. The Taliban, you keep saying the Taliban like it's this monolithic thing. It's not, right? It is a collection.
Are the Taliban killing women in Afghanistan as we speak? Oppressing women?
They are now because we're not there.
Did they regain power by Trump's hands on any scale at all?
They only regained power when we left.
Why did we leave? Who negotiated or planned our exit? Why did we leave?
So the plan was to get us, not everybody. So there's 2 things. The first thing is we were going to leave 50% of our forces on the ground. 50%. That's enough. That's enough. Just as long as you have an American presence. And point of fact, that was a signal to Putin, by the way, that we are not leaving the area. So don't get crazy. We're still here. The acceleration of the plan and the 100% withdrawal is the fuck up. There's no 2 ways about it.
So you saying if Trump was still in power, would we have kept folks in Afghanistan longer?
Absolutely. You'd still have half of that force there for the next 10 to 15 years. There's not a question. The acceleration of the withdrawal is the problem.
You're saying Trump, the one that we're crediting for no global affairs, the one that wants to focus on America first, would have actually left boots on the ground in Afghanistan?
Absolutely.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard that before.
I don't know how many people have you talked to have been there. I'm telling you, this is like on the ground experience. I was a signalman, so I'm dealing with satellites, X-ray communications, and things like that. I know for a fact, when you see guys walking around and driving in our trucks and on the helicopters and all that stuff, all of the very sensitive materials, that shit was pulled out and destroyed. I'm not even worried about that. I am worried about the lack of American presence. The fact that we're there keeps the other nations in the region in check. Now, where I'm going to fault Trump is moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Why? Because when you made that move, you told Bibi he could do whatever the fuck you wanted because you are our grandfather.
But wait a minute, before you get to Netanyahu moving the embassy to Jerusalem, in the comments, Jeremy Norwood stated if we had left troops in Afghanistan, they would still be dying. Biden has fought it with the deaths of 13 folks in that botched evacuation. But you're suggesting Trump would have left folks there for over a decade. Wouldn't we still be losing American soldiers if Trump had got his way?
I mean, it's gun battle, it's war.
It's
so,
death.
Yes.
Right. So Trump would have
Of course, but listen, ever since World War II, and I was gonna bring this up to the last time I was on here, we run deficit spending, okay? That means that our investment from our wins at World War II and World War I, when the central bank said, I don't really care how much money you spend, America, spend whatever you want. The central bank is in London, okay? So all of that allows us to run deficit spending, which means this whole idea of tax money to this, that, and the third thing, that's all bullshit. We tell the central bank what we're going to spend it on. They say yes, and off we go. That's that. Now, we are going to do that's a part of our charter to protect the world.
So is that protecting the world, or is that occupying somebody's country? If we had left soldiers in Afghanistan, how do you get around the statement that you're just occupying their land at that point?
I give a fuck what people say. Like before it was opium. Like, oh, we gotta minimize the opium production in Afghanistan. It's all bullshit. It's all diatribe. The truth is, I am a presence in Central Asia, right? And I am telling Putin, don't act up. That's why I'm there. That's why no one else has left in the past 2 decades.
So should we have a presence in the Ukraine as well?
We're in Poland. That's close enough.
Okay. All right.
We're in Poland. We're right there. And you get a stray bullet. Actually, right when I talked to you the first time, about a month ago, I'd come back from Poland. So I'm telling you that is the plan. And that's why when Russia starts acting up, you notice we got some Nordic countries in NATO now, right? Yeah. People who are very peaceful. They're like, you know what? I see the forest for the trees. I understand what you're doing now. So to answer your question, this is why. It's this single point. Yes, I would lose American soldiers, but that is our mandate as Americans, right? We are to protect the world. That was what we've agreed to.
So going full circle, so you do believe Trump's handling of global affairs is better than Biden and is leading you to potentially consider voting for?
And I am a prisoner of the moment, handsome. I'm gonna just tell you that right now because I'm furious at him about the Afghan withdrawal. I'm furious at him about how he's handling Gaza and those Palestinian people. It's in our eyes, man. I cannot believe this is the United States I fought for. You think
Trump would have handled the Israel-Palestinian conflict better than Biden?
He'll walk up to Bibi and say, "Stop that shit."
Huh. And Bibi would listen.
Of course he will listen. Bibi was begging for him to save his ass before he lost the election. He was begging for. He was going to jail. He was going to jail. Wow. Bibi Netanyahu was going to jail.
You give Trump so you think Trump has some pretty strong negotiating powers then? You know, just.
Do you see how they greeted him in Saudi Arabia?
I don't disagree. I get your point,
man. Like I think he's a deplorable human being. Don't mistake what I'm saying.
So would you trade? Let's go back to your original statement. You said you thought Trump was a threat to democracy. So would you trade the civility of America as a country for a calmer global outlook?
So he's a threat to democracy. But even with Pence, like I believe in Americans, right? I don't believe that we would have allowed whatever they thought was going to happen to happen. The worst case scenario would have been you have some yokels surround the embassy, surround the Capitol building. You know what we're going to do? Oh, once we've established the fact that it's been taken over, people are losing their lives by the 10s, by the 20s. It's going down.
This is an interesting. I do got to move it on, but you make for an interesting guess. I just want to ask you one last question. In your humble opinion, then, in your opinion, what happened on January 6th?
we were surprised. That was a surprise attack.
By who? By who?
By the people that entered the Capitol building. I mean,
why did they do that?
They believed erroneously that they could overrun the systems of the United States.
Why were they trying to overrun the system of this country?
Because they believed, and probably rightly so, right? I'm going to say this, that the system of voting doesn't work. The system of voting, not just that vote, but the system of voting. And that's not new news. We have said since forever that these two parties kind of look the same. Voting is just a mechanical thing. They're making their own decisions.
What do you mean? Explain. What do you mean by the system of voting?
The fact that you got that you can win the popular you can win the popular vote and you can lose the popular vote and still win the election. How? That doesn't make any sense.
So you want to abolish the Electoral College?
I want there needs to be changes to the system, right? The fact that I have to vote for two people I can't stand Biden. He's a bigot. He's always been a bigot. Like whoever says otherwise they don't know their history.
And how do you respond to people who suggest that Trump is a bigot or a racist?
Trump is a bigot too. Like I said, I'm stuck with two people I can't stand. Okay. I can't stand them both. But now I have to vote. And that means the system needs to change because as Americans, we shouldn't be forced to vote for bad options. We shouldn't be forced to do that.
Okay, I do got to move. As I said, you've been an interesting guest. Real quick, out of the other 9 candidates that were running for the Republican ticket, did they pick the right guy with Trump?
I loved his cabinet when he first got elected.
That ain't what I'm asking you. That ain't what I'm asking you. Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, did they pick the right guy with Trump?
Nah, they did not.
Okay.
They did not. And he is in, like, you gotta tell the truth. He's a master of marketing and a master of media. He's a master.
But he's the wrong guy in your opinion.
He's the wrong guy. Absolutely, he's the wrong guy. But he knows how to get on the airwaves and to make a story, spin a story, and get you to side with him, right? He's a master at that. And that's why you asked the question, is all this negative press helping him? It's helping him now, but people that are not, like, people who I've heard people say, I don't even watch TV anymore. I don't even watch the news anymore. Why? They say that because they're disgusted. They chose wrong, and now they're like, you know what?
So you think he's going? So you do think he's going to lose?
Oh yeah, he's going to lose.
No.
He's going to lose. I'm just saying that my whole point is that he unless Biden does something spectacular in Gaza, he may get my vote.
All right.
Even against everything I just said.
All right. Appreciate it. Interesting turn of events there. Come on back anytime, Carlos. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for your service. Wow. That was interesting. What do we say, folks? We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. I think he falls in all of the categories in one single call, but we do believe in letting people speak. Looking in the comments, I would like to speak, says Fusion. You should have spoke right there. They stopped watching A Good Thing during Trump's run as president. They stopped watching A Good Thing during Trump's run. Okay, that guess was so, and I don't get the emoji. Trump is okay with another January 6th. Wow, Ricardo says Trump is okay with another January 6th. Well, he did say it was a love fest. So, Trump has stated not only, and these are quotes, by the way, not only did he state January 6th was a love fest, another quote, he said it was a good day. So, yeah, he might be okay with another good day. Whoever that was on the phone is very uninformed and had poor viewpoints based off his feelings, says Gordon Freeman on YouTube. Tap the screen, 140,000, almost 1,000 of you in here, almost 1,000. Appreciate you folks still tuned in. Smash that like button on YouTube. We might get about 40 on YouTube if I can get some of you folks to smash the like button. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone's commentary. So understand that. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon, and we do believe in letting everyone speak. Oddly enough, not a lot of Not a lot of MAGA on the program today. That's odd. This is odd. I'm really surprised. But we'll continue on with Stanley M in the comments. Dude in the box is a confused individual. Yikes. Stanley, good afternoon.
Wow, it's an honor to be on your show. I've been trying to get on for the last year and a half now.
Wow, shit. I didn't know I was doing that well, but I'm appreciating you coming in. Thank you for the effort. So, all of these indictments, is it making the support for Trump greater?
In a sense, yes and no. But if you have like if you can see the BS, no. But at the same time, with the supporters, like everybody else has said, I mean, it's just them just rambling on or just getting the power. Like, yeah, that's my president. He's getting all these indictments, all these fake indictments. Da 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 da. I mean, it's just like I said, it's the same as anybody else.
But are they fake indictments? Trump says it's a witch hunt. Do you believe it is indeed a witch hunt to prevent him from being president again?
Negative. The evidence is just mounting, and it's just too obvious. Like, for example, like the Jan 6th, right?
Okay.
He's when you talk a politician, right? They at least had to go to some high-end school, whatever, and able to articulate their words, right? Trump, they said that Trump's like vocabulary is so limited to the point where he just like everybody said, he tells you straight to your face what he's gonna do. Oh, well, this was Jan 6 was a love fest, or this, that, and the third. No, you told your people, get ready, basically mount up and head to DC, and you did that. They all did it. And then not only that, they said they're going to take, these people were interviewed and said, we're going to take back our country. We're going to go in there and take back our country. And what they did, they vandalized government property.
But what's that? Do you believe what happened on January 6th? Those are full-grown adults acting on their own behalf. Do you blame Trump for what they did? Trump was not present in the building. Do you blame Trump for their actions?
Yes. That's his following. Like, he even said himself, I can shoot someone on 6th Ave and get away with it. And like for example, what he did when he made his speech literally outside the White House and basically revved them up to go do what they had to do. Yeah, 100%.
But when I asked you the question, you said yes, that's his followers. So if I'm going to bring it up, I hate to tie the two together, but let's say the summer of, chaos, we're talking about the riots of 2020 with Black Lives Matter. If any of those folks involved in a riot were also supporters or followers of Democrats, you don't blame the Democrats for what they were doing, do you?
I do not. The reason why I do not is because they didn't come out and say X, Y, Z. These are people that were acting on their own in that situation. But they didn't go to no pep rally or anything like that was led by AOC, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, or Maura Healey in Massachusetts, or Michelle Wu. None of them were out there doing these little rallies before before these riots went down. They all protested, and they got to the point where they just went off.
So you believe Trump should also potentially be found guilty for what took place on January? You believe he actually committed a crime in regards to January 6th?
Yes. The crime I would say what happened was he basically caused an insurrection. These people his followers, from former law enforcement that was in there, from either school teachers and whatever, all again acted upon what the president said after the rally. And he also had people that supported Trump in Congress also participate in that rally before all that happened. Oh. That is why Jim Jordan is afraid of an indictment. That is why the other gentleman from Alabama is afraid of an indictment. Jack Smith, from what I read and what I heard, he's making his case right now. Understand that the Supreme Court is conservative. Jack Smith is covering his bases by literally what a conservative loves is something that is word for word on the Constitution. Any case brief or any type of thing that he needs to put in his case brief is from the Constitution. He even said that this republic is not a monarchy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, you don't see Trump being locked up for any of this stuff that he's being charged with, do you?
Say that one more time.
I said at the end of the day, you don't see Trump actually doing time, being incarcerated for any of this, do you?
Who knows? Honestly, everything's up in the air now. Who knows?
Okay.
Because everything's at this point, we're in very uncharted waters. Very.
You think there's a good chance he could be our next president?
I can never, after 2016, I can never put that, I can never say no. Anything's possible.
Well, we had the man for 4 years already. I mean, perhaps it might be a good second term. Is it possible he could be president again and we do well?
Well, the thing is too, people don't understand is that let's go back to the 08, right? 09. We're facing a recession, right? People are losing their homes, foreclosures are happening, and it took the 44th president almost his whole 2 terms to make the country better, right? Trump comes in office and rides the coattails. He signs a tax plan that now I'm noticing after going to my tax guy the other day, we paid less taxes the first 2 years when this plan was initiated. Now we're paying more back.
So just to get clarity, you believe the economy that folks are giving Trump credit for, he was actually riding on the coattails of Obama, and now he's made the economy difficult for Biden's inheritance, and we're trying to get Biden to straighten it out. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Wow.
And if you don't remember, Nikki Haley said, and she worked for the man, we spent $2.6 billion. All that money circulating caused instability in the markets. And not only that, if you look on the Washington Post, even on Newsmax and Twitter, Trump brokered a deal with OPEC. And look what happened after. They said from late 2020 all the way to 2022, right before my son was born, I remember in Massachusetts paying almost $4.20 for gas.
So then I got to move it on. But final question I want to ask you: do you believe during this 4 years, talking about President Trump, do you believe he did anything good for this nation?
I say if Biden does get another 4 years and the Democrats are not like little children about it and actually do what they got to do, I think that they can pass certain things that could benefit again.
Wait, did you hear the question I asked?
Oh, sorry about that. Repeat your question. I'm sorry.
During his time in office, did Trump do anything good for this country?
The only thing I can say he did good was basically expose who's who, as in a sense in government and his in a sense of
who did he expose?
Okay, for example, I didn't really know who Jim Jordan was until he got in office, and I found out damn, this guy did X, Y, Z, or how Mitch McConnell literally operates, or how basically the sense of yes, you're showing me yes. The swamp is real. The swamp is a real thing.
So he exposed some swamp creatures that are mostly Republican, is what you're saying, right?
Basically. And yes, everybody, I understand that we're under Trump's tax plan. I still understand that until 2027 or 28, if I remember.
Okay.
I saw one of the comments saying that we're still under it.
All right, Stanley. Appreciate you coming in. Glad you got through. Doors are always open to you, man. Thank you. All right, moving on. There is no swamp Dems. I don't agree. Ricky Ross, there's certainly Democrats that would qualify as swamp creatures. Senator Menendez is one for certain. Remember the days of, what was the president the guy was running for president, had a really good chance of winning, and he was cheating on his wife with cancer. What is the name of the guy? I cannot think of him, but he was a well-known, well-respected Democratic nominee, Edwards or something, John Edwards. I think that's who I'm talking about. Looking, I see in the comments, yeah, everybody's saying that. Yeah, that guy. There's Democratic swamp creatures. The former mayor of Detroit, Kwame Kilpatrick, I can tell him with a bunch of them. It's a bunch of Democratic swamp creatures. Looking in the comments, though, Obama did an insurrection with Hillary Clinton. First watch. What are you talking about? Obama did an insurrection with Hillary Clinton. What the heck? Tap the screen, almost at 150,000. Wow. Guys have been certainly showing some appreciation. Certainly do want to thank everybody for that. A bit of gratitude. Same on YouTube for those who are smashing that like button. Almost at 40. Maybe not as much participation on YouTube, but I do appreciate that. Wow. Robert E. Curtis, blacks should stop auctioning for overseer positions in the Trump administration. He is taking women back 100+ years. Do blacks really think we are not next to be regressed beyond the 60s rights era? Wow. taking women back 100 plus years, black people. Just reading this comment from Robert E. Curtis on YouTube, suggesting that the Republicans, particularly Trump, is taking women back 100 plus years and that black people could be next. I will disagree partially. Obviously, reinstating laws from the 1800s, like in Arizona, is taking women back some years, even if it's not nationwide, because folks will say, well, it's all about states' rights. Well, then some states are taking women back to the 1800s. I think that's not even negotiable anymore. But in regards to whether blacks would be next, I would push back. I think that there is a group in America that is ostracized far more than blacks, and that is the transgender community. You want to talk about next? There you go. Looking in the comments, real quick, going back to the box. Appreciate you folks that are indeed holding on. Nicholas, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. These indictments, are they bringing votes to number 45? Nicholas, welcome to the program. What say you? Nicholas, are you there? Okay, apparently my last caller was not there, so we will move the program on. Don't know what happened there, but Big Rooster, friend of the program indeed. Good afternoon, Big Rooster. Are you there?
Sir.
Hey, good afternoon.
What's happening?
Good to have you on this side, one of my YouTubers, and thank you a little to the left. Thank you for that stuffed animal. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. So what do you think, Rooster? You think it's bringing in Trump some support with all these mugshots and arrests and invading his home and all of this?
Nah, like most people say, it's just, they're making a lot of noise. Listen, Tim, we keep talking about the January 16th. Everybody's saying, oh, it was a love fest. It was this. When you got to the Capitol and you saw those barriers up that said, do not cross, and you crossed them anyway, you broke the law.
But what about the notion, not just notion, but the video featuring Capitol Police calmly letting folks in?
Well, Tim, when you got, when you got 100,000 people to what? 100 cops, 200 cops. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So what you're saying, they did it out of
ass kicked or let them in.
Well, yeah. So you believe that those folks were indeed a danger to Capitol Police?
Yes, they were. We saw it. We all saw it. I mean, they can say don't believe it, but we saw it. So now you're telling me don't believe what I saw that was on video. The camera don't lie.
Then I have to make the common comparison that always comes up. Let's say Barack Obama pulled the same stunt at the Capitol, and there were supporters of Obama, let's say a large contingent of minorities that outnumbered the cops 100-1. Do you think the same outcome would have took place?
No way. I think a lot more people would have been killed.
Oh.
And that's just facts.
We would have had a bunch of. Are you suggesting we would have had a bunch of LaQuisha Babbitts?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I
tend to think the same. I think
most definitely. Tim, listen, and I just really wanted to come up to say this. The guy that was the Marine, right?
Yeah.
I want to thank him for his services. But man, that dude sound like he stood behind too many garbage trucks being unloaded at the landfill. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
He made for some interesting fodder. He was in a lot of places.
He started off like he sounded good, but then it just everything else sounded like trash. Being you know how you stand back.
Yeah, it sounds like my first marriage. I get it. Sounds like my marriage. Yeah.
You see all the seagulls, right? You see all the seagulls flying around, but you don't know what they're gonna pick up to eat. I was like, what in the fuck is this guy talking about? Listen, man, that guy has some serious issues. Maybe he got hit with some shrapnel while he was overseas. Yeah. I don't know.
No, but he made an interesting point that he feels that the planet is a safer place, perhaps, with Trump in office. Was that a bad thing?
Yeah, a lot of them think that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I stated to you last week, how many wars have Joe Biden started?
Well, they're going to blame the wars that took place under Biden's watch, because even though Biden didn't officially start the war, people believe that him operating from a position of weakness it motivated folks to do things they would not have done under Trump.
Right. So what did we say to that last week? If he was weak, why was other world leaders laughing at Trump in his face?
Yeah.
If Biden's so-called weak.
Yeah, and that did happen. And I've asked this question. When that got thrown back at me, even though I remember it, I wasn't thinking of it at the time. And that is a hell of a pushback. If Biden is a laughing stock, why did they actually laugh at Trump? I don't have an answer for that.
In his face. In his face. Not only once, but twice. See, I forgot about the other time they did it until we were talking today, until you had another guest on earlier today. I forgot about the guy when he gave that speech and he said, I wasn't expecting that response.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the time when they were standing around and they were, huddled up.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was a small group laughing behind them, and then there's another case when he said, "I didn't expect this response," where it was an whole audience full of people. Yeah.
So who's the laughing stock, Tim?
That's I can't argue with that.
So hey, and with that point being made, I rest my case. Somebody else out of the box, Tim. I appreciate you, my brother.
I'll give you the W, Big Rooster. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving the program on, the one and only Big Rooster. Good to see him on this side. He normally is on YouTube. And thank you, folks that are tapping the screen. Wow, 159,000. That's up there. Biden is pulling the world back together. Really? You see Biden pulling the that's a pretty strong accolade. I don't know. The United States is a global hegemonic superpower. It's inherently globalist. Come on now. I see some validity to that statement. We're definitely globalists. I definitely see some validity to that. The left are a failing party or falling party. One or the other. Bankai, you type falling. The left is a falling party, but how? Where are you getting that from? You don't have to be a leftist or on the right side of the aisle. Let's just say you're judging it from the outside. Let's say we were talking about the left and right in a foreign country, and you looked at the performance of the left in this foreign country, and it was doing what the left in America is doing. Whereas you had a Republican president in 2016 elected, and in every major election since that, they've been losing. How are they a failing party? Even when the Republicans maintained Congress, it actually fell below expectations of what they were about to do. I don't see the failing part of the Democratic Party. Folks expected a tsunami in the midterms last year or the year before last, now November of 2022. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I mean, they didn't get the Senate. The Senate has remained, I believe, Democrat. The Senate has remained Democrat under Biden. Did he have the Senate as well? And when he took office, I think he's had control of the Senate both times, has he not? I don't see it. Ghost of Recon. YouTube, thank you for the super chat. If Trump would have lashed out from people making fun of him, it would have been the opposite of strength. He has lashed out, Ghost of Recon. I don't know if I agree with that comment. Thank you for the support, but you're saying if Trump would have lashed out from people making fun of him, he's attacked everybody from Rosie O'Donnell to athletes taking a knee on the field. I mean, Trump's done nothing but lashed out. And I would submit the statement that everybody that Trump has lashed out against, it has not been an act of self-defense. He's initiated some attacks proactively as well. So he has lashed out. I don't quite understand that. Looking in the comments, somebody says, like a baby. He had the right point on a few things, but his conclusions needed come work. Always lashes out. He can't help himself. Trump likes fighting. I truly believe that. Trump likes fighting, and it's done well for him up to a point. Certainly in 2016, it done well. I think we've gotten to the point now, though, that folks are growing tired of it. I do believe that if Trump wins, it'll be because people favored his economy or they favored something else about his administration. I think the lashing out, the attacks at this point are hurting Trump. I don't believe they're helping him anymore. But there was a time when that type of activity was benefiting him. I just don't think it's not happening anymore. I so hope you're right, man. Well, we'll find out, and we'll certainly be here. We are always here Monday through Friday. Thank you folks that are tapping the screen. Feel free to follow the program if civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle is what you like on TikTok, on YouTube. A subscription, if you will, close to 40. Guys on YouTube, thank you. Close to 40. Going back to the box, definitely a different type of guest. Shade 43, different types of, we didn't get as many MAGA today. And that's interesting because we're asking about the constant battles with the courts in regards to President Trump. Shay, good afternoon.
Good. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing real good. So we've been asking over and over again, these 88 charges Trump is facing. Do you believe that's making his support grow?
I guarantee it is.
Why do you think so many folks, after you the first one, why do you think so many people think it's not growing his voting base?
They just hate Trump. That's all it is.
So blind hatred, Trump derangement syndrome?
Really think of it like this. I mean, he didn't get, why didn't they bring all these indictments when Biden first got in office?
Well, what about the notion of crossing your T's and dotting your I's? You don't want to rush to charge a former president, do you?
Well, I mean, they had these charters they started all this way back when he was president. I mean, I don't understand it. And now you got all these people saying, January 6th, really? I mean, you didn't see the videos? Y'all didn't see the badges on the Donald Trump hats?
Well, then,
the people
in
the Capitol?
You're saying the police?
In there? Y'all didn't see them? You didn't see the conversations that they've been having? I mean...
What are you saying? Let me get some clarity. In your opinion, then, since you brought it up, what happened on January 6th?
I think it was planned.
By who?
I mean, they have proof. They've been doing it in Congress. I watch it every day.
It was planned by who?
It was planned by the FBI. I mean, you can see it. You can see their badges.
So do you believe all of the folks that went into the Capitol building, you believe those were all FBI members?
I believe some of them were. I believe they're the ones who told the people, why were the doors open? Oh, come on in, everybody. I mean, really?
So what made...
There was already Trump people with hats inside the Capitol that let the doors open with badges on their side.
So Trump sent them to the Capitol building, and the FBI at the Capitol already knew they were coming?
Oh, I guarantee it. They set it all up.
So that means that Trump was working with the FBI as well?
No, I don't think so. I think Nancy Pelosi, she didn't do her job. She said she didn't want the National Guard over there when Trump asked for them. Okay. That's a little weird.
So is there any idea, based on what you're saying, is there any idea why, if Trump requested the National Guard, let's say you yourself is throwing an event and you feel something could go wrong, so you want the National Guard there, and when you show up, the National Guard is not present, why would you still have the event?
Well, they were supposed to have it there. Nancy Pelosi at the last minute said she didn't. That's why all the January 6th committee, they erased all of it. They don't have any records of it.
Any idea why Trump himself, who was currently the head of the FBI, or at the very least a controlled appointing who was the head of the FBI, any idea why 3 years later Trump himself has not suggested that the FBI planned this?
That I don't know. Maybe it's got to do with the indictments. He can't talk about it. You know how they like to gag them.
You think Trump is the kind of guy who would listen to a gag order and not talk about something that was wrongfully done against him?
2-1 right now.
But the gag orders are recent. This happened 3 years ago. Why didn't he mention it? As you stated, they didn't charge him right away. Why didn't he mention it before?
He did. He's been saying the feds. He said it was all planned. I don't understand why y'all ain't getting the same news. If you watch the Congress news, You can see all this. That's what I'm not understanding. Why all these people are so against Trump. It kills me. And everybody thinks Biden's doing a good job.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that Trump has come out and said that the FBI planned January 6th?
Yeah, and they always say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy." Okay, we'll go along with that until they went to the January 6th committee and started asking questions. Why didn't the secret? I mean, there's all sorts of stuff.
What was the FBI planning to do? What was the purpose of January 6th? If they planned it, what were they planning to do?
Well, there you go. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, insurrection. There was no insurrection. There was no guns. People didn't have no guns. That's an insurrection.
So what was the FBI planning to do? What did they try to do?
I mean, why was Nancy Pelosi filming in the video, with her daughter? I mean, it was just weird.
I hear your questions, but you're not answering mine. If the FBI planned January 6th, what was the goal? What were they trying to accomplish on January 6th?
To get Trump locked up. That's what I think.
And how? How?
Say, Trump had a protest, and we can call it an insurrection. We can say, if he got elected or whatever, we can say he's trying to break into this building, and we're going to let people in. I mean, if you didn't see it, I don't know how. I mean, the people had badges. You can see the video of the people letting the people in with mega hats on, like the one you got right there, with badges on their side. They were letting people out of the building without handcuffing people. I mean, it's a little weird to me. And then all of a sudden, this big, massive investigation and all.
So if the participants on January 6th were the FBI, why is and they were trying to set up Trump, according to you, why is Trump speaking so favorably of the participants? If they're FBI members trying to set him up, why is he saying such good things and making songs with them?
Been arrested that have been falsely arrested of this crime. There's been people outside the building that got arrested for doing nothing. Old ladies been arrested for doing nothing, for holding a flag. Are you serious?
Yeah, but I don't think you quite answered the question. Trump is suggesting so in other words, everybody in jail is innocent.
No, I never said that. I never said all of them.
Which ones are guilty? Because I have not heard Trump say anything negative about any of them that are in jail.
Some of them I believe are guilty. I believe the ones that were crawling through the window. I mean, that's a little weird. But if you walk through the door that somebody opened, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If somebody opens the door and says, "Come on in," I mean, you can't. Why should you go to jail for that?
So then I have to ask you, if what you're suggesting that happened on January 6th was a setup to destroy Trump, why is he calling it a good day?
I don't know why he would say that, because he's going to go to jail for it. That's what I think.
You think he will be locked up?
I think if they lock him up, which I believe they are going to, if they lock Donald Trump up, I guarantee it, that will be the Democrats' biggest mistake they have ever made.
Why do you say that?
Because he will become president. I guarantee it.
He's going to become president while he's incarcerated. How does that work?
I don't know, but I'm telling you now, if they lock him up, it will be like a civil war. I just got this weird feeling. I mean, look how many people support this man. Have you been to his rally?
I've been to a Trump rally, yes.
It's massive, ain't it? Just imagine every state, and you lock this man up, because every state's rally's the same.
But when you say a civil war, if Trump gets locked up, do you believe people are ready to potentially die on behalf of Trump?
I don't know about. I think it's going to be bad. I think if they lock Donald Trump up, I think it's going to be really bad for the country.
Let me ask you yourself, Shay, since you brought it up. Would you be willing to put your life on the line?
Hell no. No. I ain't my wife and my kids, brother. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only people I put my life in front of.
Right. And I agree with that, which is why I'm asking that question in regards to a civil war. What we know, the first Civil War, there was a reason why people were fighting and a reason why people were countering it. If Trump gets locked up, what is the purpose of a civil war? Just to break him out of jail?
That's what I believe. I believe. I don't know if it'd be a civil war. I wouldn't call it that. I believe it's going to be bad for the country if he locks him up. I really think he's going to jail, and I think that when he goes to jail, I think a lot of people are nuts out there that are going to go crazy.
So then I'm going to have to move it on, but just ask you this final question. 88 charges, do you believe Trump is innocent of all 88?
That's a hard question. I think he's innocent on a lot of them.
But you do believe he may be guilty of some felonies?
He's messed up on a few.
Okay. And if he messed up on a few, should he be held accountable?
Yes.
Would that change your vote? If he was found guilty of a felony, would it make a difference in your vote?
No, I wouldn't vote for Joe Biden at all.
What about it? No, not voting at all.
That's a possibility.
Okay. So there is a chance. So if Trump is found guilty, there's a chance you may sit this one out.
Exactly.
All right. You believe he may go to jail?
I believe he's going to jail.
All right,
I believe it's on a trumped up charge. You know what I'm saying? Like the Stormy Daniels thing. I think he'll go to jail on this one.
Well, he claims he didn't even sleep with the woman. You believe that?
Well, he has a letter stating from her. She wrote a letter stating that she didn't sleep with him. So I mean, and she signed it.
So do you believe she was paid $150,000?
Yeah, I believe she got paid.
Wait. Let me ask you this real quick, Shay. Why the hell would you have a letter from a bride saying she didn't sleep with you? Do dudes walk around with letters in their pocket from a girl saying, I never slept with you? Why would somebody write a letter like that?
That's the thing. I don't know. Maybe it was for the $150,000.
Right. Do you go out paying brides to write letters saying they didn't sleep with you? Why would you have that letter?
Is that, well, he don't have it. She has it.
Right. I think that's pretty obvious that she was paid money to lie on behalf of Trump. That's the only way that makes sense, is that he slept with her, knew it might become an issue, and paid her to write a letter lying about it. How many women write on paperwork, go out and get a letter notarized saying, I didn't sleep with such and such? Where does that happen?
He get in trouble too for that? I mean, shouldn't it just not be him? Shouldn't it be her too? And Michael Cohen? I mean, just a little crazy if you ask me.
Well, I don't know if she would get. All she did was took some money. The money, you can talk about Michael Cohen perhaps, but all she did was accepted some money. So you can't get arrested for taking money from somebody.
If you didn't, if you can't get arrested for taking money, then why should he be held accountable?
Because he presented the money from an illegal source. He lied about where the money was coming from. He had Michael Cohen take out a home loan on his property to pay her, and he paid Michael Cohen back with campaign funds, but lied and said they were legal fees. He lied on the paperwork. That's the same thing with the Letitia James case. He's presenting fraudulent paperwork.
Well, now I think the Letitia James case was a little blown out, if you ask me.
And you think he's totally innocent there too?
Yeah, I think he's innocent on that one.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's a little out there, if you ask me. I mean, nobody in the world has ever got a bond that high. In the world.
Well, the man likes to.
Insane.
Do you think any of this could be because Trump likes to talk and attack and throw around bombs?
Well, I mean, you need a strong president, which we don't have right now. I mean, all this wars and all that wouldn't be going on right now.
But you can you not be a strong president without, nervous Nancy and bird brain? Do you need to do that stuff to be strong?
I noticed something about Trump. He only attacks people when they attack him. So if, like, nervous Nancy and all that, they talk about him. So he's going to talk back, which, I mean, you have the right to defend yourself.
So you see calling Nikki Haley a bird brain in self-defense?
He's like a regular person. He's not like a politician. He's more like you and me. If somebody goes after you and me, we're going to speak our mind to somebody. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Now, if my feelings are hurt, I mean, really? You know, he don't have the right to say something back to somebody that's talking.
I don't know, because when he referred to athletes taking a knee, Colin Kaepernick, get that son of a bitch off the field. Colin Kaepernick had not attacked him. He attacked Colin Kaepernick. That was not self-defense.
I mean, on that one, I agree on that. Okay. I agree. I believe Trump has changed since the last time he ran.
What about all these judges he's going after? Like the guy in New York with this trial, Alvin Bragg. The trial hold on, hang on a second. The trial has not began, and he's attacking the judge already. That's not an act of self-defense. The judge ain't ruled on a damn thing hardly, and he's already attacked the judge.
Well, judge should recuse himself, first of all.
Why?
Because he's paying Democrat Party. You can't do that. You can't be a real judge in a real case if you're paying to other people. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, that don't make no sense.
So basically, are you suggesting that we ban all judges from making political contributions altogether?
I believe there should be people that I think judges shouldn't be able to do that.
You do realize judges are politicians. Many of them are elected. They are politicians themselves.
And they're supposed to be bipartisan. And when you have a judge like in New York that has stuff on his Instagram and all this Twitter stuff that's against Trump, saying Trump is bad, orange man bad and stuff, he shouldn't be able to preside over that case.
So because Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas affiliates with big Republican donors, are you suggesting he should recuse himself from the Supreme Court?
Yes, I do.
Well, at least you're fair about it. He didn't do it, by the way, but at least you're fair. I got to move it on, though, Shay. Thank you for coming through. Always welcome back.
All right.
Thank you. And real quick on the super chat, Demi XY says, would you all vote for me if I promise to make corporate lobbying of all our politicians illegal and listen to only voters? Just curious. Wouldn't work. And thank you for the super chat. If you made corporate lobbying of all politicians illegal and only listen to voters, you know what the corporations would do? They would lobby to the voters. There's always a way to get money to the right people. You can get money to people in prison. There's no way to stop that. You're never going to take money out of politics because there's always a way to get money or something of value to people that matter. If you only listen to voters, then I'm going to find out who the voters are listening to and buy them off. Maybe I know a block of voters go to church every Sunday. Then I'll go talk to their pastor and make sure he has a nice car or something to drive. Wherever you are going, whatever you care about, then I'll just buy them off. So, yeah, there's no way to get money out of politics, but it's a nice thought. Thank you for the super chat. Looking in the comments, yeah, but they'd have to do it one vote at a time, Mookie. No, they don't. As I just stated, find out what you care about. I know this community cares about this. This community cares about that. Then find out what about that you can donate money to so that people pay attention to it. It's not that hard to do that. The community cares about something. Put money in that something. It's just that easy. You can always buy people out. You know, as the mob used to say, everybody has their price. So always somebody out there you can pay. Looking in the comments. Make them wear their donors' patches when they show up for discussing bills. Maybe, but there's a way to disguise donors and things like that as well. Let's say, for instance, you know Mark Zuckerberg, so you don't want to be on the side of Mark Zuckerberg if you're on the right, you know, the owner of Facebook. So Mark Zuckerberg knows if somebody shows up wearing a Zuckerberg patch, it's not going to go well. So then you create some shell companies and have those companies make the donation. So now Zuckerberg's companies are showing up wearing patches you don't recognize. There's 1,000 ways to go with this. You can always get money in politics. Particularly, what do I say all day, every day in this country, with everybody focusing on the economy, taxes, money. Everybody in this damn country is money oriented. We can talk about a host of issues from children on depression and anxiety meds, obesity's out of control, hell, gunshots being the #1 killer of kids. What do we care about? Money. That is our #1 concern in America. Money, as always. You're going to tell me you can't buy off people like that? People who focus only on money, step over homeless people because I don't want my money going to them. You can buy those kind of people off. They're easy to buy off. Looking in the comments section, Zuckerberg is a UFC fighter. Yeah, I've heard that. Haven't had to be true, but I don't care about more money. Yeah, you specifically. But money matters. You got folks, I just had a guy call in stating that he believed Trump was a threat to democracy and he might vote for him. A lot of folks believe that Trump is a better leader for this country in terms of the economy, even if they believe he's done other things wrong, because money is what we're focused on. We are a money-oriented country, so it is what it is. Nevertheless, folks, I do appreciate the 108, almost 190,000 likes. Wow. Came damn close to 200,000. That's impressive. Same on YouTube. You guys got me over to 40. Thank you very much. Nevertheless, you know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You enjoy civilized dialogue. Follow the program on TikTok. Subscription on YouTube, if you will. Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. See you tomorrow. Appreciate you folks on YouTube. Once again, thank you as well. I'll catch you